presents Suspense. Roma wine, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world.
Salud.
Your health, senor. Roma wines toast the world. The wine for your table is Roma wine, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world.
This is the man in black, here for the Roma Wine Company of Fresno, California, to introduce this weekly half hour of Suspense. Tonight in Hollywood, Roma Wines bring you the MGM star, Miss Lucille Ball. The suspense play which stars Miss Ball, which is produced and directed by William Spear, is called Dime a Dance. It deals, as you will presently know, with Broadway life and sudden death, both set to music. And so with Dime a Dance and with the performance of Lucille Ball as a red-haired young lady named Ginger Allen, Roma Wines again hope to keep you in suspense.
Have you ever danced with a murderer? Doesn't cost any more for the extra thrill. It's only a dime. How could I do it, you say? I had to save my own life. I'm a taxi dancer from the Joyland Palace. One of the places just off Broadway in the 40s, you know the kind of place. Second-rate dance bands like Frankie Froman's 15 Frolickers. I was late to work that night. I ran down Broadway, scrambling through the crowd to the entrance of the Joyland.
Hey, beautiful girls upstairs, boys. Come in and count them yourself. No one treated 10 cents for that. Come in, we're just getting started. The music is the very...
Hello, Max.
Hey, Ginger, you better step on him. Marina's looking for you. You're late. He's burning.
I know it. Has Julie come in yet?
Not yet.
50 beautiful girls waiting to dance. We're just sitting right here. Walk right upstairs.
Well, good evening. So you finally decided to come, did you?
Hi, Marina. Sorry, I'm late.
You ought to be. So did Julie. All the cash customers are waiting. I sent out the girls before all of you are here, and you say I'm playing favorites.
Well, blame it on Julie. She gave me a stand-up tonight.
All right, so I'll blame it on Julie. Where is she?
Isn't she here?
No, and she ain't home neither, because I phoned her there 15 minutes ago. Thought she was with you.
And I thought she was here.
Hey, if this is no gag, what happened to her?
Well, that's what I'm beginning to wonder.
Go on in and get your stuff on. Julie will be all right.
Yeah, maybe she slipped in while you were busy counting tickets or something. See you right away, Marina.
Thanks for being late and being Peter's pet. We've been entertained by Mom here while waiting for...
All right, lay off. Mom throw me that foot powder. Looks like a heavy night out there. My feet still hurt from last night.
Here you are, dearie. That's the way I am, Gertie. What I like every once in a while is a good, juicy murder.
Nice kid. No luck to be murdered herself. Throw me that dress, would you, Madame Defarge, the green one? Is Julie here?
Not unless she's hiding in the closet, honey.
Do any of you know where she is?
Asking us, ain't she your buddy? Maybe they had a fight.
Well, did any of you hear from her?
Why not ask Marino? He's been hanging around her. Now, that southern girl, Sally, she used to work in a joint like this one further uptown. There was a murder for you.
Come on, hurry it up, baby.
She just never showed up to work one night.
Who didn't?
That southern girl, Sally. Then they found her. That was about 3 years ago. Oh, what a sight she was when the police discovered the body.
Oh, cut it out, Mom.
Then there was the Robinson gal out in Brooklyn, stabbed to death. They found a phonograph and record by her body didn't even belong to her. The murderer brought his own music. Oh, she was a dance hall phony, too. Maybe some guy has it in for you girls.
Pleasant character.
Well, maybe one fella killed the both of them. Maybe there's a dance hall killer still at large getting ready for his next victim.
Now, what do you think I pay you girls for anyway?
I often wonder.
Oh, Marino, think we're giving a free show in here?
You couldn't interest anybody in that chassis of yours, even with a set of dishes thrown in.
Oh, yeah.
All right, all of you, file out. I got something to tell Ginger. Come on, get out. Ginger, what I wanted to see you.
I know, Marino. I put you in the spot. I'll be dressed in a minute, and if you'll ward off those garlic eaters tonight, I'll work twice as hard and make it up to you, honest.
No, I'm in no spot, Ginger, but you are.
Marino, what's the matter? What's happened?
The police want to see you, Ginger.
Police? What for? I didn't do anything.
I'm sorry, Ginger, but
Something's happened to Julie.
that's what the police want to see you about. Julie's dead.
Dead?
Murdered.
All the way over over in that police car with those two flat feet from homicide, I could see Marino's face when he said murdered. Poor Marino. We got out and walked up to the third floor of the building, to Julie's room. Marino never said a word.
All right, sister, in here.
Is she still in there?
No, you won't have to look at her.
Oh. How did it happen?
Strangled.
Well, why didn't she yell out? There were plenty of people around.
Now, look, Ginger, we're asking the question.
Yeah, but since you raise it, we figured the person who could get close enough to kill her was someone she felt safe with.
She was murdered by someone she trusted, by a friend.
Well, I was the only friend she had.
Yeah, so they'd tell us.
Unless she had a boyfriend.
Who was her boyfriend?
Yeah.
If she was strangled, where did all the blood come from?
Flatfoot didn't answer Marino. He shut up all at once, as if he didn't have the heart to tell us the rest of it. His eyes gave him away, though. I got the whole score just following his gaze around the room. First, he looked at the little phonograph. By using bamboo needles, she could play it late at night. Soft, so no one could hear it. The needle was worn down halfway, all shredded as though it had been played over and over. Then his eyes wandered to a flat piece of paper that had 8 or 10 shiny new dimes on it. Some had little brown flecks on them. Then his eyes went down to the rug. It was all pleated up in places, especially along the edges, as though something heavy, something lifeless had been dragged back and forth over it. You mean he danced with her after he killed her? Gave her a dime a dance even then?
Now, will you tell us? Who was her boyfriend?
Find that record. Maybe she'll remember some guy they both knew who was hipped on the piece. It was the only one he played.
She never had that record. Poor butterfly, she hated it. She couldn't stand it. Someone brought that record here with him.
Sure, someone did. Maybe her boyfriend sort of...
No boyfriend. It was someone who waited for her in that room in the dark and killed her before she could scream. It was the same madman who killed those 2 other dance hall girls. He pays a dime a dance. A dime a dance whether you're alive or dead. At the grind. The flat feet let me go. Nobody told me anything. Sometime when you have nothing better to do, you try dancing with a couple of 100 guys a night, asking yourself each time one of them wraps his arms around you, is this the killer? Has he a knife in his hand behind my back?
Say, can I see you a minute?
Got a ticket?
Yeah, but I don't want to dance, Ginger. I want to talk.
Well, it's your dime. Say, how do you know my name?
What just happened to you?
Who are you, anyway?
Recognize those 2 guys leaning against the wall?
The 2 flat feet?
And I'm the third. Nick's the name.
Well, what about about her boyfriend?
Relax. We have proof it wasn't her boyfriend and it wasn't you.
Oh, then you expect him to show up again after what he's done already, huh?
We just got the report on those other 2 girls. They were killed by a maniac who played poor butterfly. Also, the fingerprints in all 3 cases match. He'll keep it up until we get him.
How do you know what he looks like?
We don't. We only know he isn't through yet. That's why I was assigned to protect you.
Protect me?
Yep. Keep my eye on you all night while you work and then take you home right to your door. Now, Marino knows about the other 2 dicks, but no one knows about me. Fact is, headquarters told me not to tell even you.
Then why did you?
I just saw how touchy you are. I don't want you to misunderstand my intentions.
Well, what if someone asks me who you are?
Say I'm your new boyfriend.
Oh, don't get smart. I never had a boyfriend.
Good, now you've got one.
Well, 35 girls on this musical chain gang. Why do you pick on me?
Because we found out one more thing about the killer's habits. The 2 girls that were murdered before Julie both had red hair.
Julie had red hair.
Yeah. And so have you, baby. So
I was set up as victim number 4. Nice thought. But every night, like the milkman, just when the girls filed out to feast the arms and eyes of the wolves, there was Nick. Now, that was some comfort. Nothing personal, you understand. It was also a comfort to see those other two flat feet on the job night after night.
How's Ginger?
Fine. How's Nick? Hey, you're 4 minutes late.
Miss me?
Oh, I'm just a taxpayer that wants to see a public servant earn his money.
If the city got broke, I'd do this job for nothing. Uh-oh. Your straw boss, Marino, is giving you the high sign.
Oh, I'll go see what he wants. You wait here. It's on your mind, Marino.
Say, who is that monkey hanging around you every night?
He pays for his tickets, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he never uses them. Who is he?
My boyfriend.
Oh. You known him long?
Long enough.
Take care of yourself, Ginger.
Don't worry, Marino. I know my way around, but thanks.
Besides, we're not running any matrimonial bureau around here. You got to spread yourself around a little more. Share the wealth. There's other customers.
All right.
Now, watch that, will you?
All right.
What did he want?
Oh, nothing. Nick, is there any news? You know, it's a month since Julie...
No. Calm down, redhead.
That's just it, that red hair. Look, why won't you let me dye it?
Oh, I've got my reasons.
Yeah. You great, big, silent, strong cop.
That's right. Those cops.
And then came that night. That horrible night. I was late as usual, got to the dressing room planning to dress in no seconds flat so I could get out on the floor and be with Nick. Somehow I felt that I was going to need him that night. Some instinct told me it was a matter of life or death.
It's been a whole month since the last one. What I like every once in a while is a good juicy murder.
Come on, knock it up. What do you think I pay you boys for anyway?
Who are you looking out the door for, Ginger?
Now, you take that film of yours. There was a real juicy chick.
Oh, shut up, Mom. Will you cut it off?
Oh, I'm sorry, dearie. I keep forgetting you, and she was so cruel.
Oh, that's all right. I'm jittery. Laverne, have you seen my boyfriend? Not tonight. Maybe he got bored. Billy, have you seen Nick? You know, the tall, handsome... Not tonight, redhead. I guess he's giving you the air.
Come on off. What am I paying you for?
Come on. What's the matter, Cynthia? Look like you've seen a ghost. What are you looking for out there? What's so fascinating about the clock?
Marino, they're not there. Where are those two flat feet?
How'd you know about that?
Never mind that now. Where are they?
Called off.
Called off?
That sounds screwy to me, but police headquarters figures they frightened off whoever they was looking for.
But that's crazy. I'm going to phone...
That won't do no good. I told them that anybody would wait till it cooled off before trying again. Now is when we should have protection. Well, come on, get out on the floor. Come on, all of you, out on the floor.
All right, I'll be out in a second. Really, I will, Marino. Laverne. Yes, honey? As soon as Nick comes in, tell him to come right here. Tell him to tap on the door, will you? Turn up, sugar.
Hey, what are you looking at me like that for, Ginger?
Look, Mom, I got to talk to you. I can't go out there on the floor. I'm scared.
What are you staring holes in me for?
Mom, you and I were here in this room the last night Julie was alive. The night she must have been killed, remember?
You poor kid. I always liked
we got to remember. We just got to. There was someone dancing with Julie that night. Some rum-dum. Julie said something about him. I can't remember what it was she said.
Oh, you mean the one that hurt her hand?
That's it. Hurt her hand. Then her wrist back when they were dancing.
Yeah, that's the guy. She said it was almost like as if he got a kick out of hurting her.
Yeah.
And a scream.
Yeah, now what else?
Well, Julie called him a cement mixer.
Oh, now we're getting somewhere, Mom. Think hard.
Oh, he had Julie crazy, dancing like a slap-happy pug. I remember her describing it. He'd take 3 little steps to the right as if he was getting ready for a standing broad jump.
That was it.
Remember how Julie said she felt like screaming, for Pete's sake, if you're going to jump, jump.
Yeah, 3 steps to the right, and if you're going to jump, jump.
Hey, what are you doing, Ginger? Some detective work? Getting some clues?
You know who we're talking about, Mom?
The killer.
Yeah.
Oh!
If he enjoyed hurting her like that, when she was still alive, he'd enjoyed dancing with her after she was dead.
Oh, he's worse than Prune Face. Why, that's...
There's someone I got to tell this to right away. Oh, where the... Nick! See you later, Mom.
Hey, how's Ginger?
Oh, Nick. How's Nick?
Hey, you're trembling. Sure, it's me. Why not?
I thought you were called off the case.
We were.
Then what are you doing here?
Habit. Do you mind?
No, you dumb ape. I don't mind. Boy, how I don't mind.
And, as long as it isn't duty anymore, do you mind if I do something to you that I've wanted to do for days?
Well, it depends.
I want to take you in my arms.
All right, take me in your arms and dance. Anyway, for the time being.
I'm a rotten dancer.
You're telling me. Nick, we got to talk. I just found out something about the killer that you ought to know.
Later. I paid Marina for all the dances to the end. We can leave whenever you want.
After this song, they play Dinah, and then comes the break. We can leave then.
What makes you so sure?
Well, the band always plays the song in the same order. Then they can sleep while they work. I tell time by them. Slimehouse Blues means it's 10:45. Lady with a Tramp means 11:15. Dinah means 11:30. Never changes except when there's a request number.
You know, I like everything about you.
I like everything about you but your dancing. Let up on my hand, will you? You're bending it upside down. It hurts my wrist.
I told you I was a rotten dancer.
Well, for Pete's sake, don't dance like you were priming for a standing broad jump. If you're going to jump, jump. That's not Dinah.
No, certainly isn't. It's a request number.
Who requested it?
I did. What's the matter, baby? You look sick.
I feel just awful. I do feel sick.
Am I dancing that bad?
No, Nick, I'll have to stop at the air, I guess. I'll go in and get drink water. Yeah, drink water in the ladies' room.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll wait here for you.
I'll just a minute. Operator, give me the police department, homicide squad.
Police department, homicide, right away. Homicide?
Hello, homicide. This is Ginger Allen at Joyland. The third man you assigned to our place is the...
Third man? What third man?
Nick Ballister, the one you assigned to protect me.
We have no Nick Ballister, and there was no man assigned by us to protect you.
It's the killer. He's taking me out with him. I don't know where to. Look, I'll leave a trail of ticket stubs. Please come quick.
Ginger.
Goodbye, Katie. Sorry you couldn't work tonight. I'll fix it with Marino.
How you feeling?
Shouldn't have come in here, Nick. Did you see the sign?
All that? Men keep out, violator subject to arrest? Didn't say positively. Besides, they wouldn't arrest a cop.
Why couldn't you leave me in here alone?
You were gone so long, I thought something had happened.
Nothing's happened. Yes? Don't ask me how, but I kept up a patter while we walked. All my brains were in my right hand to clutch those ticket stubs in my coat pocket. I kept dropping those stubs, making sure he didn't see. I tried to stay on the bright streets, but he led me to the lonely one. The one we were on now was like a graveyard. No lights, no people. Suddenly, I felt my blood run cold. My fingers in that right-hand pocket fished around like a drowning man clutching for straws. The last ticket stub was gone.
Ginger.
Yes, Nick?
I'm hungry. Would you like some chop suey?
Like it? Oh, I'd love it. He ate that chop suey with an appetite, like a guy who had work to do. Work he was going to enjoy. I side-sneaked a glance at the jukebox without turning my head, just my eyes. What a relief. All kinds of songs, but no Poor Butterfly. Nick was beginning to act nervous. He'd guzzle a cup of tea, pour another, keep looking over his shoulder like he was worried somebody might be following us. Then he'd grin like he used to and reach over for my hand. He pressed my fingers till they hurt. Hard, like he never pressed them before. I guess he couldn't wait. And suddenly he stood up.
Ask the waiter for the check, Ginger. I'm just going to wash my hands. And it's time we left.
Waiter, quick.
Yes, you may. What will he be?
I'm leaving. When my boyfriend comes out, tell him you think I went back to the powder room. And Gag, he's a deadbeat. I want to shake him.
Maybe don't understand.
Marino, how did you get here?
Mom saw me, and I followed your ticket stubs. He almost saw me. Come on, quick.
Marino, thank heaven you got here.
Hurry up.
Marino, I can't run anymore. I won't last the block.
You won't have to. There's a vacant house in the middle of the block. Here, It's out. Fair, but I see him coming.
It's all dark in here.
No one lives here. That's why. Light the searchlight. Yeah. There's the stairway leading upstairs.
Oh.
Go ahead. Now, watch it now. Don't trip them stairs. It's broken. Yeah. Now, through this door.
Oh.
Here's a candle and a match. There. Now we can see each other. Wait.
Do you think we're safe?
We'll know in a few minutes.
Oh, Marino.
Yes, John?
Oh, it's him.
Shh, put out that candle. Now hide. Back there. I'll take care of him.
Ginger?
It's him.
All right, you act first. I'll see you about that.
Who is it? Who is it? Answer me. Answer me, please. Oh. Oh, why did you stop the music?
We danced from the beginning of the record.
Marino!
Yeah, Muriel. You think you could hide from me with different names and different faces?
Marino! Why do you call me Muriel? What are you doing? I'm Ginger, don't you remember? I'm Ginger Allen.
Yeah, each time you tell me a different name, Muriel. But you can't get away by changing names.
Marino!
The first time you changed your name was when you married me before I left for Europe with that operetta company. You remember? You all got the place. Poor butterfly. And you promised to love me forever.
Help me. Somebody help me.
Yeah, well, the next time you changed your name was when you thought I was dead. Lived on my insurance and married another man.
Oh, please.
No matter how many times you change your name, Muriel, I'll find.
No, not me. You killed her. You killed her, Marino, again and again. You only killed her last month, Marino.
This time I think I have. She rises again. This time I'm going to kill you and your lover. This is the last time.
Nick!
And now dance. Now we did. Here are you fine. The one you want. And now we did. And then
How's Ginger?
Oh, Nick. Oh, Nick. I thought he killed you.
You got an awfully hard head. Police will be here in just a minute.
Oh, Nick. How do you fit into this? Headquarters never heard of you.
They were instructed to say that in case you called.
Oh, what was the idea? Scaring me to death.
Well, I figured Marina would follow Ginger and her boyfriend once he thought the police were off the case, and when he did, I had to have you thinking I was the killer, so you'd run off with him willingly.
Why, you no good.
It was the only way to find his hideout and the evidence we need. The phonograph, the record, and the attempted murder.
At my expense, you big piece of... another thing. How'd you know about dancing like a broad jumper and turning up my wrist?
Oh, I listened outside the door to you and Mom talking about that in the dressing room tonight.
Oh.
Gave me a couple of neat pointers.
Oh.
I put them together with poor Butterfly so I could scare the daylights out of you.
Oh, you did, too. I ought to ring your...
Now, calm down. No wife of mine is going to have a red-headed temper.
Wife of yours. You'll do anything to learn how to dance, won't you?
Yeah, it looks that way.
No wonder you didn't want me to dye my hair. You wanted that nice, premature gray color.
And so closes Dime a Dance, presented by Roma Wines, and starring Lucille Ball. Tonight's tale of Suspense.
This is Lucille Ball. It's been a great pleasure to appear on Suspense this evening. Next week, I know you'll want to be listening, as I certainly will, to a very wonderful actor, Mr. Paul Lucas, who will appear in a suspense play called A World of Darkness.
Thank you, Miss Ball. Lucille Ball appeared tonight through the courtesy of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, producers of Madame Curie.
Autolite and its 96,000 dealers present Suspense. Tonight, Autolite brings you a story of murder and greed. A story we call Early to Death, starring Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz.
Say, Hap, how's your team?
Oh, just fine, Harlow. Just my what?
Your car's team. Didn't you know your Autolite-equipped car carries a team around under its hood?
You got me, Harlow. Give.
Well, the team, Hap, is the Autolite electrical system in your car that produces and stores the electricity needed to start your car and keep it running. It also supplies electricity to your light, heater, radio, even to your cigarette lighter.
You mean the Autolite electrical system in my car does all that, Harlow?
It sure does, Hap, because all the units of the Autolite electrical system are related like a team by Autolite engineering design and Autolite manufacturing skill to give your Autolite-equipped car the smoothest performance money can buy.
That's what I like to hear, Harlow.
So, friends, because only Autolite original factory parts can give you the teamwork, balance, and perfect timing that was originally built into your car's Autolite electrical system, it'll pay you in smooth, dependable performance to insist on Autolite original factory parts in case replacements are needed. Remember, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, with Early to Death and the performances of Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball, Autolite hopes once again to keep you in suspense.
What'll happen to Duke?
We'll get down with the plane.
That's the same as murder.
For $300,000, I think it's worth it. Matt, Evie, you want out?
No, I'll get the money. You call in then.
Right, baby. N71533. Calling Veracruz Radio, over.
N71533. This is Veracruz Radio. Go ahead.
Veracruz, we're over the mountains. My oil line is clogged. We're in trouble.
Do not try to glide it through. Bail out. Okay? Over. Hello? N71533. Answer me.
Evie.
I got it, Ben. A full payroll. 300,000.
All right, turn around. I'll buckle a case into your parachute harness. We wouldn't want this to burn up, would we?
You call into Veracruz?
Yeah, they got the idea. They got it. Come on, baby. You aren't scared to make the jump, are you?
Scared? After all the planning we've done? Let's get out of this thing. We jumped together. I closed my eyes and counted just the way Ben had told me. And then I pulled the whipcord. And all at once I was floating down to earth. It was all so easy. After a while, I was standing beside Ben, and he was helping me out of my parachute harness. We both looked over at the same time.
So long, Duke.
Ben, do you think we should have strapped a chute on him in case there's...
I left the fuel lines wide open. When they find that plane, there won't be anything left. Come on, Evie. We got things to do.
We buried the case full of money right there in the mountains, where we'd keep until we came back to pick it up when things were safe. That's the way we'd planned it. 3 days later, we staggered into a town called Acayuca and made like the two survivors of a plane crash. They took us to the hospital in Veracruz, and we were treated for exposure. Sure, there were questions, all sorts, from the Mexican police, insurance investigators, agents, the whole bunch. But they were questions we could answer. We'd been rehearsing them for a year.
When did you know the plane was having mechanical trouble, Miss Webster?
When Mr. Tabor came back from the pilot's cabin and told me to buckle on my chute.
And you, Tabor?
I was sleeping. Duke woke me up, told me the oil line was clogged. You'd have to jump.
You did jump?
Yeah. Miss Webster went first. I followed.
But the pilot, Duke, didn't jump. Why?
I have no idea.
You got a parachute?
Huh? There were 6 weeks aboard it.
Were either one of you aware of the cargo
What cargo?
The company payroll was on the plane.
Mister, I'm only a co-pilot. They don't tell me those things.
Did you know, Miss Webster?
No. How would I know? The company was just sending me on my vacation.
You understand I represent the bonding company. We're hoping to locate the wreckage and recover some of that payroll. I must ask you questions.
I understand.
Now then, will you please tell me what, in your opinion, might have stopped the pilot from saving his own life when he knew the plane was doomed?
We played it as straight and as dumb as we could. The more questions they asked, the more innocent we looked. And a week later, when they found the wreckage and combed it over, they decided everything, including the payroll, had burned up in the plane. Ben kept on flying for them. I quit after 3 months and went back to New Orleans. All we had to do was wait. The first time the guy showed up, the guy in the dirty Panama suit with the 3-day beard, the smile, and all the teeth, he didn't worry me one bit.
You don't remember me, senorita?
Go away. I'm waiting for a friend.
You do not understand. I am your friend.
Well, you're not the right one, so beat it.
But we meet, you and I, in a way.
Yeah, well, nice to see you again. Goodbye.
At the time, you impressed Rico very much. I am Rico. Oh, the Senor Tabor. Hello, Evie. Who's this?
I don't know, Ben.
Allow me. My card. It's dirty, true, and I print it myself. Rico Sebastian, Senor Tabor. What does he want, Evie?
Search me.
I'm just explaining my admiration for the senorita. And now for you too, senor. In a way, we have also met before. Thank you. Don't remember ever seeing 30-day tourist? Let us say, incognito. What makes you think you know us, Buster? I said I have seen both of you before. It was in the mountains, north of Acayuca, where I often hunt with high-power rifles. I saw you parachute out and land safely with a box. I witnessed the plane crash, and later saw you both start through the woods without the box. I would need help to dig in every ravine, official help, unless, of course, you would help me. And then I would know exactly what to do. I would hate to talk to the officials because I know they would listen.
What do you want?
A small pittance, amigos. Only one little quarter of a big $300,000. Well, you have my card. We'll talk later when you feel better, eh? Hasta luego.
Ben, what do you think?
I don't know. He's telling the truth, he says.
And we've got a third partner. Oh, Ben, I wish we hadn't waited. I wish we'd just taken the money and got on that boat of yours.
All right, take it easy. This guy ain't gonna let me pass. Give me that card.
What are you going to do?
I'm gonna go see him. Find out just how tough he is.
Ben.
It's the only way.
Be careful, Ben. I'm scared.
Will you stop worrying? I'll handle him just like a baby.
We had another drink, and Ben left for Rico's. I went back to my apartment and waited for his phone call. After 2 hours, I couldn't stand it any longer and took a cab over there myself. It was in the French Quarter, a dull gray place with lots of iron grill work out front. A man in a black hat and trench coat answered the door.
Come in, come in. You be Miss Webster.
Who are you? What is this?
I'm Lieutenant Mayor. This is Sergeant Tremaine. You want to tell it now?
Tell what?
Okay. Landlady says you rented this place 3 months ago.
Why, she's a liar. I
Where
never...
you meet Ben Table when he comes in from trips?
What?
You know Ben Table. Wallet says he's a professional pilot. You were in a crash with him a few months ago. Show us, Sergeant.
Ben!
You put those bullet holes in him?
Oh, Ben!
He wasn't shot here. Who helped you move him?
No, it's a trick. Rico planned this. He planned it.
Rico? Who's Rico?
Rico's
The man that helped you move the body here? Who is he?
I won't say anything. I won't say a word until I see a lawyer. And I didn't say a word. Ben was dead. There was nothing I could do about that. Of course, Rico had killed him. Had been planning to kill him all the time. I was sitting in my cell the next day when I had a visitor.
Hey, Good morning, senorita.
You.
See, you're in trouble. Rick was here to help. You did not think I would leave town when my friend is in trouble.
You killed Ben last night.
I only meant to kill him slightly.
Sarge!
Quiet, please. You have not thought.
I'm going to turn you in so fast.
Quiet now. Think. Ben Tabor is dead. It is unfortunate, but I had to kill him. And your position is very perilous. The police are highly suspicious of you. They are talking of a falling out among thieves, recalling the plane incident and the payroll, which might not have burned.
And you helped things along by renting a place under my name and taking Ben there after you killed him.
It was just a small trick. Now I have a big one. An alibi for you.
What alibi?
I have many friends who will testify you spent last evening with me.
Until I get out, you get nothing.
There is going to be a coroner's inquest this morning. They cannot indict if we come to terms.
How much?
1/4 of $300,000 for the trouble, 1/4 for the alibi. Half. I can see by your eyes that this is agreeable.
It is the opinion of this court that Benjamin James Tabor met death as a result of bullet wounds inflicted by a person or persons unknown. This coroner's jury is convinced that the material suspect, one Evie Webster, shall be released on the suspicion of murder charges previously made. Testimony of the witness is conviction enough for this court.
Oh, senorita, you are free now, eh? You are angry I have caused you so much trouble.
You're a murderer.
You murdered before I, the pilot. Senorita, we're partners now. Let us not talk of such things. Let us rather make plans to settle up our little account.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Oh, we're going to get along fine, you and I. Fine.
Rico played his cards pretty well, but there were some things he hadn't planned on. I'd killed, then he'd killed. The way I looked at it, it was my turn again.
Autolite is bringing you Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz in Early to Death. Tonight's production in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Say, Hap, how important is the electricity to the running of your car?
Well, let's see. When I step on the starter, I use electricity. Put in my radio, and I use my lights, electric windshield wipers, and heater. When I light a cigarette, well, I guess electricity is as important as gasoline.
Right you are, Hap, and all the electricity used is produced and stored right under the hood of your car. And Autolite designs and builds complete electrical systems used as original factory equipment on many of our finest cars.
You mean Autolite makes the starting motor, distributor, generator, and all the other electrical units?
That's it, Hap. In an Autolite-equipped car, all the electrical units and all their thousands of component parts are related by Autolite engineering design and manufacturing skill to give the smoothest performance money can buy.
That's winning teamwork. Yeah, Harlow?
Right, Hap. That's why it's just good business to treat your car's electrical system to a checkup now and then. By your nearest authorized Autolite service station, or by the dealer who sells your make of car. In either case, or at the garage or repair shop where you see the Autolite original factory parts sign, you can be sure of getting Autolite original factory parts in case replacements are needed. So remember, you're always right with Autolite.
And now Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball in Elliott Lewis's production of Early to Death, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Rico made me give him all my money. He bought himself some shoes, shaving equipment, tobacco, a couple of sets of dungarees, and some shirts. I thought that maybe when he got cleaned up, he wouldn't look half bad. But all it did was make the meanness in him a lot easier to see.
You keep staring at me. Why?
Because I'm going to keep my eye on you night and day, Buster.
I don't know how you ever got the feeling that I couldn't be trusted. Didn't I get you out of jail?
Yeah, but something tells me I've been a lot safer left in.
Well, when you have that money in your hands, you will feel much better. You and your friend Ben bought a boat.
How did you know we had a boat?
Because I have seen it. You have kept it in the harbor of Biloxi, Mississippi. It has the name Intrigue. Very funny, huh?
Yeah, it's a scream. We took the train down to Biloxi, and in 2 days he had the Intrigue ready to move. The boat was a 40-foot auxiliary sloop, and I knew nothing about it. But as usual, Rico knew everything. We pulled out for Veracruz. And then I knew what I had to do. When we hit port, I was going to take off and feed him to that money. I knew I could get to it before he could. And then I'd go right through the other side of the mountains, and he'd never find me again. It was night when we pulled into Veracruz. We tied up, and he decided we'd bunk in until morning. I waited until I thought he was asleep. Then I walked quietly over to him and hit him with a piece of 2x4. He never moved. 4 hours later, I hired a car and drove to Acayuca. It was early morning when I got to the only hotel, a small, beat-up plaster building. When I asked for a room, I got a shock.
Si, Senorita Webster. We have been expecting you. A room is ready.
Expecting me? You were expecting me?
Si, Senorita. Come this way, please.
He moved down the corridor, and I followed. We reached a door. He swung it open, bowed, and walked away. I couldn't believe it, but I knew what I was going to find even before I saw it.
Do you like the room?
Rico,
You do not know what to say, huh?
No.
Well, I do.
Rico!
The next time you try something like that, I take care of you quick. You might have killed me. It could all have been so easy. But you had to make it hard.
You're going to take all the money. That's what you want.
You're a bad judge of character. You think I am the kind of man who might kill you once you show me exactly where the payroll is buried. Did you ever think I might kill you for not showing me?
I made up my mind right then. I was going to kill Rico long before he saw that money. Later that day, while he was out arranging for horses, I went looking for a weapon of some kind.
I'm sorry, Senorita. Nowhere in Acayuca is there a small gun such as you described. Perhaps you try Veracruz.
I haven't got time. I want it now, and I'll pay anything.
But what good is money when there is no gun?
Don't you have a black market here or something?
For what do you want a gun?
For protection.
Oh, that's all? Un momento, senorita. Here is the greatest little protector in the whole world. 8 inches long, sharp as a razor.
I don't know anything about a knife.
What is there to know? Just, and the throat is cut. That is, if you want to cut a throat.
I strapped the knife to my leg under my Levi's and went to the hotel to wait for Rico. He came back late in the afternoon with horses and supplies. A group of peons watched us go, and I knew they thought we were both crazy heading into those hot brown hills. We went about 12 miles the first day and made camp. I was so nervous I couldn't eat or sleep. I was afraid to take my eyes off Rico. We made a fire and put our bedrolls on opposite sides, and I lay there half the night watching the flames slowly die out. Rico's eyes were shut. He was breathing regularly. I took the knife out and walked over to him. His head was back and his throat was completely uncovered. I started the knife downward.
That is far enough with the knife.
Let go of me.
Isn't one murder enough? Drop it.
All right, you'll break my wrist.
Why do you keep doing these things all the time? I have told you what a nice guy I am, and you do not believe me. I have to sleep with one eye open.
You...
No tears. Oh, you're only doing what you think is best. But, golly, I better be careful of you, eh?
He was laughing at me, and there was nothing I could do. For the next 3 days and nights, I didn't sleep a minute. We rode deeper and deeper into the hills. I never felt so alone and helpless in my life. I didn't speak to him, and he didn't speak to me. We just kept on, hour after hour. Finally, we began to get near the ridge where Ben and I had buried the payroll. I was trembling with excitement. But Rico was too calm. Whoa there. Where are you going?
Huh? Wherever you go, senorita.
Show me the place you were standing when Ben and I parachuted out of the plane.
Why, it was over there, on the ridge.
What ridge?
That one. There.
You didn't see us that day. You've never been in this country before.
Oh, no. Why do you say this?
Because that's where we bet.
Where on the ridge, senorita? Lead me to it. Pronto.
And he had me again. It was a trick. The whole thing, and Ben and I had fallen for it. He pulled out the gun, and I rode in front of him, leading him to the spot. When we got there, he made me go to work digging. The case was there. The money was damp, but good. Rico took a bundle of bills in his hand and looked at them long and thoughtfully. Then he turned towards me with a gun in his hand.
Now,
Rico, please.
you know what I'm going to do?
Rico, you can have all the money, but don't shoot me. Please, Rico.
Shoot you, Evie. Again, you have misjudged me. I am breaking open the gun. I am throwing away the bullets. And I'm throwing the gun away in another direction.
Oh, Rico. Rico, I should have believed you.
I said all I wanted was half, and that's all I'm going to take. Now, don't worry. I'm not going to kill you.
It was like being born again. I tasted food for the first time in days. And I even talked to Rico like I talked to any human being. We put the money in the saddlebags and started through the mountains toward Mexico City. Rico said people might recognize the serial numbers on the bills, and we had to be careful how we unloaded it. We sold the horses in the first village and took a plane into Mexico City. I stayed at the hotel while Rico went out to do the bargaining. He said it would take 2 or 3 days. We bought some new clothes, and the first night we went dinner dancing. And I suddenly got an idea.
You're looking at me in a different way, Evie.
That's true, Rico. I know you now. What you're really like. And the more I know you, the better I like you.
Ben Tabor like you, too. But poor Ben is dead.
Why the laugh?
I'm not for you, Evie.
How do you know? You haven't really seen my best side yet.
I am just a wharf rat. Soldier of fortune.
So who am I? Do you think I came out of a girls' school yesterday?
No, but we're from different worlds.
Rico, see if this brings the worlds any closer.
Well.
You do like me, don't you?
Yes. The kiss was nice. But I have a feeling about this thing.
What feeling?
That you're only trying to get my half of the money back.
Buying a gun was a lot easier in Mexico City than in Acayuca. They had them all sizes and shapes, depending on the kind of a victim you had in mind. I paid the top price. We kept the money in the hotel room. And the second day, Rico, while he was out making deals, I made my plan. I was going to kill him when he came back and slip out of the hotel at night. I'd be in Europe before anybody found out who I really was. I sat waiting for him.
I see you have been waiting, Evie.
Yes, I thought we might talk.
I have something to tell you. Something that will affect your whole life.
I'll bet you have. Well, the deal's off. See?
Evie.
All the weeks and hours that you kept me on the end of a gun. Now it's your turn.
Evie. Evie.
How does it feel, Rico? Think of me spending all that money.
Evie, get me a doctor.
Get your own doctor.
Evie, you're a very stupid woman.
I was almost a very stupid woman because I was going to kill you. Now I'm just going to leave you here with a bullet in your shoulder. And after I'm gone, you won't say a word because you're in no position to. I know all about you.
You won't even get out of this hotel. You see, even now you're being watched.
What are you talking about?
You don't know all about me, Evie. I am a Mexican police officer.
As it turned out, he was. He had killed Ben Tabor in self-defense, and that's why the American police had let me go. He had led me right to Mexico City, where he had jurisdiction. And he wasn't unloading the money on the black market. He was verifying serial numbers. I should have killed him then, but I didn't. Rico was right. One murder was enough.
Suspense, presented by Autolite. Tonight's stars, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz.
Friends, this is Harlow Wilcox again to remind you that Autolite, world's largest independent manufacturer of automotive electrical equipment, makes over 400 fine products in 28 plants from coast to coast. These include generators, starting motors, distributors, ignition coils, and all the other units that make up the complete Autolite electrical system, used as original factory equipment on many leading makes of our finest cars, trucks, and tractors. Autolite makes a complete line of batteries for automotive use and a complete line of ignition-engineered Autolite spark plugs, all backed by the constant Autolite research and precision built to the exacting standards of Autolite engineers. So remember, you're always right with Autolite.
Next week on Suspense, our star will be Mr. James Stewart in The Rescue. And in weeks to come, you will hear such famous stars as Ann Baxter, Rosalind Russell, and Charles Boyer, all on Suspense.
Suspense is produced and directed by Elliott Lewis, with music composed by Lucien Morawek and conducted by Lud Gluskin. Early to Death was written for Suspense by E. Jack Newman and John Michael Hayes. Tonight's cast included Jack Crucian, Anthony Barrett, Tom Holland, and Joseph Kearns. Desi Arnaz may be heard on his own program, Your Tropical Trip, on this same network.
And remember, next week on Suspense, Mr. James Stewart, as a man who tries to save a girl's life, a tale we call The Rescue.
You can buy Autolite electrical parts, Autolite resistor type or standard type spark plugs, Autolite Sta-Full batteries at your neighborhood Autolite dealers. Switch to Autolite. Good night.
Preparedness is the best protection. Your Federal Civil Defense Administration urges you to obtain the official air raid instructions and learn them thoroughly. Remember, air raid safety, like traffic safety, depends on knowing and following the rules. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Roma Wines present Suspense. Roma Wines, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world.
Salud. Your health, senor.
Roma Wines toast the world. The wine for your table is Roma Wine, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world.
This is the Man in Black
here for the Roma Wine Company of Fresno, California, to introduce this weekly half hour of Suspense. Tonight from Hollywood, Roma Wines bring you as star Miss Lucille Ball, who appears tonight as a Broadway lady, whom you may have often seen if you are a devotee of musical comedy. She is the third one from the left in the chorus line. And so, with this little lady's narrative about the 10 grand, and with the performance of Lucille Ball as Miss Gigi Lewis, we again hope to keep you in suspense.
Well, on this particular night, I'm standing in front of the Broadway Lindy's with my nose practically pasted against the window. It's late and I'm hungry. I've been pounding the pavements all day doing the rounds of the manager's offices. You'd think a good hooper like I ought to be able to land something with all the shows on the big street. But here I am, standing like General Sherman's statue in front of Lindy's, looking at the pasted-up menu and mentally overindulging in a big, thick, juicy T-bone steak smothered with onions. That comfortable crowd inside there can toy politely with their chicken sandwiches and their shrimp cocktails for all I care. Just give me a T-bone smothered onions. Here I am with 5 cents in my handbag, literally. Enough for the ride home in the subway, no extra charge for the empty stomach. Well, anyway, I can take my shoes off when I get in the subway. I turn around and give Lindy's one last sorrowful gander and then make for the subway entrance. It's just the time the shows are letting out. And plenty of people from the taxi set are taking the subway home these nights, being short on tires and gas. So I get in that Times Square jam that looks like 5 o'clock p.m. and feels like a Russian pincers movement on the Polish border. I'm getting shoved towards the turnstile, so I quick try to get my handbag open to reach for that lonesome nickel. All of a sudden, I feel something jerk out of my hand. My bag is gone. I try to yell, "Stop! Hey, stop!" I twist around and see somebody, a little guy with short bow legs, running toward the stairs. "Stop that guy! Stop that guy! He's got my purse!" I'm trying to break out of the mob and after the purse snatcher, but I'm like the ace of spades being dealt off the bottom of the pack. When I'm finally in the clear a little, I see a tall guy running after that little guy who has my purse. They both disappear around the corner and up the steps. There's plenty of commotion in the crowd. You'd think there was $1 million in my handbag for all the fuss they're making. But I don't stop to think about anything except that I lost my fare home. I take out after the tall guy. When I get to the foot of the stairs, the tall guy's coming down again. And he's got my bag in his hand. He's smiling a big, wide smile at me, and I'm gazing gratefully up into his big brown eyes and noticing the way his hairline ain't receding any. Just the guy to go around rescuing ladies in distress. Regular Sir Galahad or somebody.
Is the shoes, miss?
Yeah. Gee, how can I ever thank you?
Think nothing of it. Here you are.
What about the guy, the thief?
Oh, there was a cop on the street. He'll take care of him. What about you? You're all right, aren't you?
Oh, sure, I'm all right.
You look kind of pale. I guess it would have been pretty tough to lose your purse that way, especially this late at night.
Oh, I don't know why you bothered, really. Nothing but a nickel in it, anyway. I don't carry much with me when I'm out at night.
A nickel will get you home.
He's smiling at me again, and my heart's saying, "Oh, brother." We both start towards the mob at the turnstile, and I'm busy hoping he's going my way so we can sort of get better acquainted, you know.
Well, good night. Hang on to that pocketbook now.
Well, aren't you, Well, good night. I'm caught in that mob at the turnstile again, and the train's coming in. Somehow, the way you do in crowds, I lose sight of him. And I gotta concentrate on digging out that nickel to put in the slot. I open up my bag and find the nickel all right, and then my heart almost stops. There in my handbag sits a great big wad of bills, folding money, cash. I managed to get the nickel in the slot and get myself through to the platform and on the train, all the while hanging onto that bag as if there were 10 grand in it. $10,000. Gee, it could be that much. The roll is big enough. My head's going around in crazy circles. The doors close behind me and everybody in the car is rushing to find a seat. Over the noise, I hear some contented soul whistling. I grab grab a seat next to a fat man who's taking up most of it. I sit there hanging onto my bag, not daring to look inside. I tell myself I'm dreaming. There's not really a big roll of bills in there. Extreme hunger is giving me the DTs. How would I get a bankroll as big as your fist? What am I doing with money? Then I remember the purse snatcher. He must have put it there. But why? The fat guy next to me tries to drum up a conversation.
Nice night, ain't it?
Yeah, cold.
You the young lady what got her purse snatched?
Yeah.
Lucky thing you got it back, ain't it?
Yeah, very lucky.
I always say it ain't good for a young lady, especially a nice-looking dame like you, to carry a lot of money around when she's out at night.
Huh? What makes you think I got a lot of money?
Well, the way you carried on when that fella snatched your purse.
Oh, yeah. I'm showing this fat palooka by my attitude that I don't go for conversing. I'm sitting there looking straight at the wall ads, and the one across from me is a big photo in natural color of Miss Subway in 1944. A Brooklyn girl, all dressed up and dripping with furs, and probably wearing Chanel No. 5. Money. All the money I need. No more pounding the pavements and waiting in outer offices for some two-bit job in a show that's due to close opening night. Clothes. A fur, maybe. Chanel No. 5, maybe. An apartment downtown with a switchboard to announce people instead of a fifth-floor walk-up in the Bronx. Food. T-bone steak smothered in onions. Just walk right in and order it. Fun. Maybe go to a nightclub and... Say, though, maybe it's counterfeit dough. Maybe.
See those guys coming through? They're cops.
How do you know? They might be the Rover boys.
I can spot a plainclothes dick in a minute. They all look alike. They all got a certain purrs and noise.
Well, that don't prove they're dicks.
I don't know. Maybe it's the way they part their hairs.
Plainclothesmen. Looking for something, Hot money, maybe. So, suppose I'm found with it. How am I going to prove somebody planted it on me? I can see them laughing at that one now. That's a good one. Ha, ha, ha. She didn't steal the dough, honest. She just found it in her purse. Ha, ha. That's a good one. Lock her up, 25 years.
Well, good night, little lady. I'm getting off here. This your stop?
No, thanks. I go further uptown.
Well, good night. I'm certainly glad you found your purse.
Good night, Fatso. The Rover boys pass on through, and I decide to sneak another look at my bag. I open it up very carefully. The bankroll's there, all right. Some of the bills are in big denominations, too. There could be 10 grand, and it looks like the real thing. But there's also something else, something I didn't see before, a piece of paper stuffed into the roll. I reach in and get it, looking around to see if I'm being watched. All I see in the car is sleepy people, so I unfold the paper and read what's scribbled on it. Get off at 161st Street and follow Yankee Doodle. That don't make sense. What's Yankee Doodle got to do with it? I get up and I'm making for the door when I hear it. And then I remember I've been hearing that whistling right along and didn't notice it. I back into the first empty seat and prepare to do some thinking. Somebody in this car wants that bankroll again. Could it be Sir Galahad? I just can't bear to think of him as a criminal type, but he was awful quick to go chasing after my purse. And he could have been in this car all along without me seeing him. I try to get a quick look around, but there's people in the aisles. And a dear little old lady is pushing her way forward. She sits down next to me.
I was sitting next to a man who kept snoring. Do you mind if I sit here?
No, not at all.
I didn't know there could be so much confusion in the subway this late at night.
Well, in New York, you get to confusion 24 hours a day.
Well, I guess I'm just not used to it, that's all.
Hey, you look like there's something wrong. What's the matter? Do you feel sick?
I'm all right. Oh.
Hey, she's passed out. Won't somebody help me? This woman's sick.
Here.
Look out.
Here, give her a slug of this. This'll bring her to.
Thanks, that's swell. Now, look, lady, just take a swallow. It won't hurt you. Go on. Swallow it. That's it.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, really.
Forget it. How do you feel?
I can't imagine what happened. All at once, everything seemed to whirl around.
Sure you're all right now?
I'll be fine in just a moment.
Here's your medicine, mister. Thanks.
That's okay.
You're awfully kind. I didn't think people were so kind in a big city like this.
You better take it easy now. Where do you get off?
What's that?
Where do you get off?
Oh, 169th Street. That's where my sister lives. I'm visiting her, you see, and I just thought I'd go downtown tonight and see a show and have a good time. Evelyn told me how to go on the subway, and everything was fine until just now.
You're not hungry or anything?
Oh, no. It's not that. I have plenty of money. At least I did have.
Yeah? What happened to your money?
Somebody stole my life savings.
No, not really. Who'd do a thing like that?
Eh?
Who'd do a thing like that?
Thing like that? Oh, I don't worry about it, you understand. I'll get the money back.
How?
Well, don't you remember the old saying? It takes a thief to catch a thief.
I suppose so.
Yes. Well, that's just how I plan to catch the person who stole my money.
How much did you lose?
What's that?
How much did you lose?
Oh, lose. Well, I had been saving it all my life, and there was at least, $10,000.
Gee, that's too bad. Well, am I going to give it back to her if it turns out to be her money? How do I know she's not pulling a fast one? I remember that in shows it's always the dear old lady who fakes a faint to get sympathy when she's really the brains of the mob. Yeah. I noticed she got a big gulp from the bottle while she had the chance. Well, supposing she is on the level, would I give her the money when I have it here? 10 grand? And me practically in the lap of luxury? Would I?
Oh, my.
Listen, do you know how to whistle?
What a strange thing to ask me. As a matter of fact, yes, I do.
Well, I'm awfully fond of whistling.
You are? Are you? Well, you know, I was judged the champion whistler of the Ladies' Auxiliary at church back home.
Well, isn't that nice?
Yes.
Won't you whistle something for me?
Oh, well, I couldn't. Not here. People would turn around and look at me.
Well, you already caused quite a stir when you fainted.
Oh, did I?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then, what would you like to hear?
Yankee Doodle.
Well, I'll try.
That's fine. But I guess it doesn't prove anything.
I beg your pardon?
I meant, how was it you say you lost all that money?
Oh, the money. Why, the bank teller back home just ran off with the savings of practically everybody in town.
Oh, it happened back home, huh? When?
Well, now, let me see. Why, it must have been 5... No. It was just about 6 years ago.
Oh.
Yes, and why do you ask me?
Well, I just thought maybe you, I thought you might have just lost it tonight the way you talked.
Well, I hope I didn't alarm you, but I just keep knowing I'm going to get that money back someday.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Oh, listen. Somebody else is whistling Yankee Doodle now. That's very fine whistling, too.
Isn't it, though?
Yes.
Yeah, and this time it's no old lady. I got an idea it's somebody who just possibly could have a slight case of murder on his mind.
Tonight for Suspense, Roma Wines bring you as star Miss Lucille Ball, whom you have heard in the first act of The 10 Grand by Virginia Radcliffe. Tonight's adventure in Suspense.
Far to the south of us is our good neighbor country, Ecuador, land of towering mountains, sweeping vistas. Let's imagine ourselves there now, dining on the roof terrace cafe of the exclusive Hotel Metropolitano in Guayaquil, Ecuador. Near us, an American has just complimented his hosts on the magnificent dinner, to which his host quickly responds, "Ah, yes, it is true that our foods are famous. But from your land comes a rare delicacy also, one which has spread the fame of your own California to many far corners of the world. It is this superb wine, so excellent that we in Ecuador import it from your United States. My friend, I drink to you in your own delicious Roma wine." Our Ecuadorian friend is right, for Roma wine's superb quality has won such favor in many far places that they import it, enjoy it as a rare luxury. But not so here in America. Here, millions know and enjoy Roma wines as an inexpensive, everyday delight. At meal times and when entertaining. So many, in fact, that Roma is America's largest selling wine. With no high import duties to pay nor expensive shipping costs, you enjoy these distinguished wines for only pennies a glass. Ask for Roma wines, which bring you old-world winemaking skill, plus Roma's own modern scientific controls and testing. That's R-O-M-A, Roma Wines, America's largest selling wine, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world.
And now it is with pleasure that we bring back to our soundstage Lucille Ball in The 10 Grand, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Street. 161st Street.
Well, this is it. Oh, must have been dozing. Is this your station?
Yeah, and the next stop is yours. Don't fall asleep and miss it now.
Well, I won't. You've been very kind. I do want to thank you.
Don't think nothing of it. Well, good night.
Good night, my dear. Now be careful crossing the street.
Sure, don't worry. I'll be plenty careful. I get off the train. Stand for a minute on the platform looking around. I don't see Sir Galahad, but he could have gone through to another car and come out down the line. Several guys are on the platform, and they all hurry up the steps of the street. I go up, too. I look ahead at the block I have to travel. Then I hear it again, from the darkness of the street. I can't tell exactly where it's coming from, but I'm standing in the light, and whoever's after me has a pretty perfect target. I walk away, hugging my purse and shaking like 6 hangovers. I tell myself that pretty soon Yankee Doodle will grab me and take the money. Any second now. He wouldn't need to kill me. I haven't seen him, so I can't identify him. He could just take the money and leave. But suppose he enjoys killing people. Suppose he gets panicky all of a sudden and his finger slips on the trigger. Suppose he's a maniac. I think about screaming, but nobody's hear me in time because screaming probably makes Yankee Doodle's trigger finger tremble. Why doesn't he do something? Why doesn't he take the money away from me and get it over with? Does he want me to offer it to him on a gold platter? Not Gigi. She's got a T-bone steak smothered in onions waiting for her if she ever gets out of this in one piece. But now I'm getting toward the next corner, and there's a dim street lamp on the other side. I see him. That's strange. He's been walking ahead of me all this time. Then I hear something else. Footsteps. Somebody behind me. I listen. That doesn't sound like the tread of somebody hurrying home to the little woman. That's the steady tread of somebody trailing somebody. I don't know how I know it, but I know it. There's Yankee Doodle up ahead, but here's also somebody behind me I don't like just by instinct. I'm sandwiched. I'm the ham between 2 slices of rye. Now listen again. He's getting closer. By the time I reach the corner, he'll catch up with me. I try walking faster. He's walking faster, too. I turn around. I can see his dark shape behind me with a distant street lamp back of him. Then I see something else. Back away, across the street, is another man, walking fast. Now I got 3 of them. I'm in a triple-decker sandwich now. I want to scream. I want to yell help. But my heart's got all mixed up in my larynx somehow, and I know I'd never be able to project my voice past the next crack on the sidewalk. They're catching up to me fast. If this is the end, sister, this is it. I'm already imagining the cold steel in my back, and then... The 2 boys walk right on past me. Don't even give me a tumble. They're making time, and as the one on my side gets ahead of me, I see him nod to the one across the street. They're not tailing me. They're after Yankee Doodle. They heard him whistle, and they'll be catching up with him any minute now. I heave a big sigh of relief and consider a quick exit back to the subway with my 10 grand. I can just barely see the 2 of them as they come close to the next street lamp. They could be plainclothesmen, but I don't think so somehow. In that case, they got an illegal desire to get something they think Yankee Doodle's got. Or maybe Yankee Doodle's the illegal part of the deal. Suppose he turns out to be Sir Galahad. It's pretty confusing, and I ain't happy about it either way. But something, I don't know what, Makes me take after the two Rover boys instead of going my own way while I got the chance. I look up ahead. Yankee Doodle's a block away now, and he stops for a second under a streetlight. He's listening. I can tell that, even though he's too far away for me to tell if he's Sir Galahad. Then quickly he disappears into the shadows again. I'm trying to keep my heels from clicking too loud, but they sound like drum beats, so I take my shoes off quick. The Rover boys are up on the corner now, but I'm making it by the time they're halfway down the next block. The street lamp must have burned out along here because it's blacker than a Schiaparelli dinner dress. If only a police car would come by or something. Maybe Winchell would be cruising with the boys, yeah, and then he'd give me a plug in his column, and it'd be easy for me to get a job. Oh, what am I thinking about things like that for now? Besides, there ain't a car on the street. There hasn't been one since I got off the subway. Suddenly, out of the blackness, a hand grabs my arm. Another covers my mouth.
Be quiet. Don't scream. It's me. Yeah, let's get down in the stairway where they can't see just against the light here. Now.
You didn't need to choke me.
They'll come back this way in a minute. As soon as they found out they'd lost me.
How'd you get here? I thought you was way ahead of them.
I was. I ducked in here and let them pass. Are you with me?
Why should I be?
It's my life or theirs.
So what?
I got your purse back for you.
Yeah, Sir Galahad.
You got my money.
Well, could be their money.
Yes, but it isn't.
Wait, they're coming back. I got an idea. I'll step out and say something, and you...
All right. Get up there quick. They're coming.
Well, hiya, boys. Fancy seeing you here. Nice night, ain't it?
Never mind, sister. We ain't got time to chat.
Well, you needn't blind me with that flashlight. I just wanted to pass the time of day.
Well, it ain't that time of day, so step aside and let's...
Hey, what...
Hey, he was trying to get up.
Let's make sure they're really out.
Are you kidding? They're both out farther than the 12-mile limit.
Then let's get away from here fast. Come on.
Wait a minute.
What's the matter? You don't want to be picked up around here, do you?
Well, I got to put my shoes on first, don't I? Say, do you know I broke my heel on that heel? So, here we are, 15 minutes later, sitting in an all-night restaurant after running practically 12 blocks and me forgetting all about the fact my feet was killing me a couple hours ago. Sir Galahad's breathing just like normal, but I'm still sounding like a pair of bellows trying to catch my wind. He's looking at me and laughing in a nice way, and I don't mind.
You know, what you need is a little regular exercise. It would get you in condition.
A nice, steady job hoofing somewhere will do that for me.
I wonder how long it will be before the cops find those guys.
Maybe you ought to report it first, just to be on the safe side.
No. It would be too dangerous. I have to get rid of the money first.
Oh.
No, I did not rob a bank.
Well, there's other illegal ways to get 10 grand.
Here comes the waitress. Better order, and then we can talk. Eh?
I can't believe I'm really going to get a steak inside of me instead of hot lead.
Wait until you see what the steak's like before you feel too happy.
Know what you want yet? Yeah, a long time ago. T-bone steak, rare, smothered in onions.
Make it 2, please.
2 T's, rare and buried.
All right, shoot. What am I saying?
I'm a Greek.
Yeah?
I came over here when I was about 15. My father and mother are still in Athens. I couldn't get them out of the country when the Italians invaded. So I don't know where they are now.
Oh, gee, that's too bad.
Oh, I'm like a lot of people over here. I want to do something for my mother country, even though I am a naturalized American. So, in my spare time, I collect contributions from other Greeks living over here.
Oh, you mean for the Relief Society?
Oh, no, that's different. This money supports the Greek underground. It has to be gotten and sent very quietly because certain people over here would like very much to know who's operating the underground in Greece. You see?
Yeah, I'm beginning to. What about the Rover boys?
Who?
The 2 kids we lulled to sleep back there.
Oh. Well, I can't prove it yet, but I think they're Axis agents. They've been following me ever since I left home this morning. Today was my day off, and I've been making the rounds, collecting.
You did pretty well. How much is in that bankroll?
$10,415.
Oh, boy, you're quite a salesman.
I've got a good product to sell. Anyway, I thought I could shake those guys in the subway. But then when you got your purse lifted, I did a little quick thinking and decided the money would be safer with you for a while.
Mm.
And I do want to thank you.
Oh, that's all right. Always glad to help out. Well, I guess you'd like to have your 10 grand back now, huh?
You know, in Greece, they have a law that whoever finds money gets to keep 10% as a reward.
No kidding.
Yes. So the way we'd figure it, you get $1,041.15.
Say, that's wonderful. That's a great custom. I wonder why they don't adopt it in America.
Well, I guess America has a lot of things that Greece doesn't have. T-bone steaks, for instance.
Yeah, that's true. Well, here you are. I hope you get the dough into the right hands.
Thank you very, very much. Aren't you going to count out your 10%?
Mm-mm. I got to contribute something to winning the war, ain't I? Say, miss.
You want me?
Yeah, what happened to them 2 T-bone steaks?
Oh, well, I'm sorry, but when I took your order for the steak, I forgot this was Meatless Tuesday.
Oh, no.
And so closes the 10 Grand, starring Lucille Ball. Tonight's tale of Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by William Spear.
Have you had the thrilling experience of enjoying a meal prepared and served with delightful Roma wines? Well, tomorrow evening, we suggest that when preparing your dinner, whether it be fish, meat, or poultry, just add a generous portion of your favorite Roma table wine, Sauterne, Burgundy, or Claret. Then simply put the same bottle, well chilled, on the table with the meal. You'll be in for a new experience in just how good even the simplest everyday foods can be when prepared and also served with superbly flavored Roma wines. Don't put off discovering how much these delicious and inexpensive Roma wines can add to the pleasure of everyday living. Remember, thousands make Roma wines their daily standby for greater enjoyment at a cost of only pennies a glass. Ask for ROMA, Roma Wines, America's largest selling wine, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world.
This is Lucille Ball. I always enjoy my appearances on Suspense, and tonight I'm particularly proud because Mr. Spear has just counted up, and he says that tonight I said more words per minute than any actress he has ever had on the show. Well, here's just a few more, and I hope you will give heed to them. Don't let tomorrow go by without buying an extra war bond.
Lucille Ball appeared tonight through the courtesy of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, producers of the White Cliffs of Dover. Next Thursday, same time, we will present the best-selling novel, The Walls Came Tumbling Down, and Mr. Keenan Wynn will be your star of Suspense.
Presented by Roma Wines, ROMA, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
In just a moment, Suspense with Lucille Ball.
Hi, Arnold.
Well, look who's here. Say, it's mighty nice of you to be sitting around all week just to hear me tell more about Autolite.
Oh, I haven't been waiting around all week. Why, I was way up in Oregon.
Oh, that's
Why,
swell. That's swell. Hey, Hap, do you know the real story about Autolite Stay Full batteries?
Well, sure, I know the real story about Autolite Stay Full batteries.
Needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use. What a battery. Stay full, that is. Why, by Cornelius, an Autolite Stay Full battery has more liquid reserve than a centipede has legs, than an ocean has waves, than a rabbit has, well, rabbits. Water? Whales spout it, geysers gush it, people drink it, but Autolite Stay Full batteries carry good old Aquapura so long and so well, they take a drink about as often as you have a birthday, a wedding anniversary, and a New Year's celebration. Only 3 times a year in normal car use. And let me tell you something else. You'd better get an Autolite Stay Full battery before...
Before you go on some more, Harlow, let's listen to Suspense.
Suspense. Autolite and its 60,000 dealers and service stations bring you radio's outstanding theater of thrills. Starring tonight, Miss Lucille Ball in Anton Leder's production of A Little Piece of Rope. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Said I'd never make good here in Hollywood. Everywhere I went, it was the same story. Sure, they'd see me, but the minute they took a look at my baby face, all I'd get was advice and excuses. No job. My last try was for a schoolgirl part. I was too baby-faced to even land that one. I was walking home, still wearing the school uniform that I'd bought to help me get the part, when I got the idea. Then I remembered another thing. It was years ago, reading an old copy of the Police Gazette in Grandpa's attic. Printed about 1880, I guess. With their falsely youthful faces, dressed as innocent schoolgirls, these vicious females haunt the vicinity of select young ladies' seminaries. And with their airs of artless girlhood, they entice and trap unwary gentlemen. Some from the best of families. It was funny then. But now, well, those gals were suckers. I take the exclusive gents for all they've got and give absolutely nothing. That's how I made good in Hollywood, up to $1,000 a month good. I just take a little walk. I've got uniforms for all the best schools, and I still have the baby face. So help me, lots of those kids look older than I do. When school's out, I let some old wolf pick me up. They always want to park up in the hills or some other lonely place. I drop my compact. He bends over to pick it up. I let him have it with a special little blackjack I carry. Then I leave, taking their wallets and any letters I find. You'd be surprised at some of the letters some of them do have. Makes a dandy bank balance now and then. Them? Remember, I pick 'em old enough to have families, dignified jobs. Would they want to admit to chasing Bobby Soxers? They never squawk. My landlady thinks I'm the ideal tenant.
Oh, she's no trouble at all, the poor little thing. Infantile, you know. Has to take long walks every day and rest the rest of the time. Never any fun or dates like other pretty girls. Well, lucky she can afford it, I say. Be a county ward otherwise. And so sweet and quiet, uncomplaining, poor little soul.
Yes, Mrs. Tilford is a swell character witness. Of course, I always wear a coat over those uniforms near home, and I keep them locked up just in case she snoops. Yes, I've got a nice career in Hollywood. That is, I did have until last month.
You going out in this cold, Isabel?
Oh, this is a good heavy coat.
Well, don't you overdo now.
These walks are just what the doctor ordered.
Anyway, you sure look healthy enough.
Oh, thank heaven for that. Anything I can pick up for you on the way back?
Oh, no, thanks, dearie. I got everything done. Goodbye now.
Bye. I was dressed for Miss Cadwaller's school this time, and it was just letting out when I got there. I didn't have long to wait. You know, you get so you can tell by the way the cars move along the street if the guy's on the prowl. This one was driving a big black coupe, and he was a little younger than I liked, about 40, but you can't be too fussy. I stepped off the curb, pretending to look for a bus.
Waiting for the bus?
Why, yes, I am.
Which one?
The Bel Air bus.
Oh, I say, that's a shame.
Why?
I just passed it back there. Broken axle.
Oh.
You know, I think I've seen you passing my house. What street do you live on?
Cameron.
Oh, sure. I'm just over on Bender. Hop in, I'll take you home.
Oh, well, you're a neighbor. I guess it's... Gee, thanks, Mr.
Rice. Alex Rice. Insurance.
How do you do?
Like school?
I hate it. School's no fun. I'd like...
What?
Oh, excitement. Danger. I suppose you think I'm pretty silly.
No. No, I think you're the kind of girl who'll get excitement and danger.
Really?
Yes, really. Look, it's so early yet. I'd like to take the long way through the hills. It's pretty there now.
Oh, yes, I'd love to. I think the hills are divine. Oh, isn't it just out of this world?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Oh.
What's the initial on your bag for?
The initial?
Yeah. Irma?
Oh.
Inez? Ingeborg?
Oh, Ingeborg. You made that up.
No, it's Swedish. Imogene?
No, Irene. Irene Taylor.
A pretty name for a pretty girl.
I'll bet.
You have beautiful hair and eyes and a beautiful throat.
Well, throat.
Irene, you're very exciting.
Oh, Mr. Rice, I dropped my compact.
You don't need it.
But it might get stepped on.
You won't need it.
But I want it now.
All right. Don't yell so. Here, I'll get it. Oh!
Character, huh? Well, here, roll back a little. There. Well, what do you know? Rope. Now, why would a guy carry a piece of rope in his inside breast pocket? Nice wallet. Well, goodbye, Mr. Rice, and thanks for everything. Back home, I showered and changed and settled down to see what was in this wallet worth keeping. Only about $50. What made it so thick was a lot of newspaper clippings. Oh, no, it can't be. But it was. Those clippings were all about the strangler who'd murdered 5 girls in the last year, left them in the hills with a piece of rope around their necks and never a clue. And Alexander Rice carried his press notices. Alexander Rice carried a little piece of rope in his inside breast pocket, picked up girls, drove into the hills. And Alexander Rice wasn't his name. No, his driver's license said Benjamin Carney. I had picked up and slugged the strangler. My latest sucker was the most dangerous man in the country.
For Suspense, Autolite is bringing you Miss Lucille Ball in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Say,
Hey there, neighbor. I didn't get going very well on those Autolite stay-full batteries.
Now, look here, Harlow Wilcox.
Never mind. I'm right back in there pitching. Gee, if I could only tell you about every one of those 400 Autolite automotive, aviation, and marine products. Well, that takes real breath, lots of breath. And while I'm not as short on taking breath as an Autolite stay-full battery is on taking a drink, not by a jugful, even I just haven't got enough breath for that.
Well, if you just stop talking so
I
much...
can sure wind up and sound off on those Autolite stay-full batteries, though. Making camels look like topers is just the beginning with them. They've got oversized electrical capacity plus fiberglass insulation. You know what that means, my friend?
Well, sure, I know what that means.
It means you should find out for yourself how long these batteries are bound to live. You'd have to hibernate like Rip Van Winkle. I guess you could at that if you had an Autolite stay-full battery in your car.
I've got an Autolite.
By the way those Autolite engineers designed that Autolite stay-full battery is so darned ingenious by Cornelius that you could pay as little attention to your Autolite stay-full battery as Rip Van Winkle did to old Father Time. Go down to your Autolite dealer and get one right away. There's no better buy in batteries, my boy, because no better batteries be behind the byline of Barlow Wilcox.
Now, look, Wilcox. Oh, you got bees in my bonnet now. If you'll only pipe down, we'll hear some more of Suspense.
And now, Autolite brings back to a Hollywood soundstage Miss Lucille Ball as Isabel in A Little Piece of Rope. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
At first, I just shivered over my narrow escape. Why, if I hadn't been out to get him, he'd have gotten me. I'd be number 6 in tomorrow's headlines. Then I suddenly realized I was the only one who could identify him. I can't be silent, let him go on killing. I've got to go to the police station and tell them. I started to go out when it occurred to me I couldn't. I didn't dare go to the police and take the chance of exposing my own racket. If that ever came out, and it probably would, San Quentin, here I come. It seems they're a little stuffy about people who carry blackjacks and steal wallets and sell letters. So, instead, I went for a walk. A real one this time, and just tried to think. Pretty soon another thought hit me. He knew I could identify him by now. Strangler was no fool. He'd have me figured out and know the kind of place and time to look for me. And he'd certainly be looking for me, to kill me, to shut my mouth forever. I had to find a way to...
City Desk, Thompson.
I know who the Strangler is.
Who's this?
I can't tell you that.
Oh, I see. Well, what can you tell me? You know his name?
Benjamin Carney.
Carney?
C-A-R-N-E-Y, 1156A, Boydell Street.
Yeah, description?
About 40, 5'9" or 10, 160 pounds, dark hair, eyes, skin, even features. Not ugly, not handsome. Drives a big black coupe, late model.
Got it. Any identifying marks? Mustache?
No, nothing.
And how do you know this guy's the Strangler?
I just know. Goodbye.
Hey, wait a minute.
So you can trace the call? There'd been hundreds of phony clues, and he thought mine was another. But surely they'd check that name and address. All the way home, I had a creepy feeling he was around somewhere, following me, waiting. The evening paper barely mentioned my call, just listed it with several others. Radio wasn't very much better.
An unidentified woman phoned in a description of the killer as a 40-year-old brunette, medium height and weight, with no distinguishing features, driving a new black coupe. Police checks revealed that such a man, with the name she gave, had moved from the address given several months before the first of the Strangler murders, but there is no further trace of him. Investigation continues, but it is believed this is another spite accusation. A Portland, Oregon woman reported the Strangler as the man who entered her hen house last night and...
No use phoning again. I didn't think a letter would help much either, but I tried. Being careful it couldn't be traced to me, and mailed it to a newspaper that night.
Hey, Mike. You going to the courthouse? Take this to O'Shea, will you? Another strangler letter telling all. Why can't he just strangle letter writers? One more and I'll strangle somebody.
Another failure. The letter wasn't even printed. I was getting jumpy from being cooped up like a prisoner. What if he couldn't find me as long as I stayed home? I was losing money every day I didn't pull my act. I could leave town, but why should I give up this good thing, my perfect setup? I've been doing fine. In another year, I could quit the racket, make friends, invest my money, maybe even get married. But now this had happened. I'd never be safe. Not as long as we both lived. I finally faced it. I have to find him and kill him. This time I put an ad in the personals column. Would he see it? Well, I'd run it till he did. A.K. Rice can book your rope act for mutual profit.
Have immediate out-of-town engagement. Signed, Slugger. Rope act. Mutual profit.
I knew that would get him because it sounded like blackmail. And by pretending to fall for a shakedown, he'd hope to get close enough to kill me. Only it was going to be the other way around. And so our strange correspondence began. He answered right away.
Slugger, interested in offers.
Send details, Box 047M298, Rice. I had him hooked. I didn't lose any time writing. Dear Mr. Rice, I have an invention which I think you'll want for your
rope act. It's expensive, but remember, it's completely silent. And yours exclusively if we agree on terms. Signed, Slugger. Mm-hmm. Completely silent. It's delicious. And expensive. Yes, indeed. Slugger, give price
and details of contract. Rice. So close now. I couldn't afford the slightest mistake now or... Dear Mr. Rice, 5,000 cash buys complete
assortment of paper and leather goods. Time and place of meeting must be my choice, but decide fast. I must leave town immediately. Signed, Slugger. P.S. You should never have left that snapshot in your wallet. It's awfully good of you. Snapshot? I thought Oh, no. I didn't burn it. So, the little lady's in a jam. Needs money to hide out. And I can help her make her get away. Oh, I can indeed. Slugger, price okay.
We'll close at your convenience, Rice. I've got him. My plan was as foolproof as I could make it. I packed a suitcase with the kind of clothes I'd hate to be found dead in, and maybe I would be, and told Mrs. Milford I was taking a vacation with friends.
Oh, I'm so glad, dearie. I said to Miss Knight yesterday, that child should have country air. City air just don't do the same for you.
Yes, I know. It'll do me good.
And you stay longer if they ask you. Don't worry about me holding the apartment for you.
Well, thanks a lot, Mrs. Tilford. It's certainly nice of you. I have to catch that train now. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Have a nice time now.
I took those awful clothes to the bus depot, changed, washed, and let the soap dry on my face till it was white and shiny and 10 years older. With my hair skinned back tight under an old beret, I saw a stranger in the mirror. Baby face was gone. Good. No one had noticed me, and looking like this, nobody would. Then I walked to another apartment I'd rented by phone last week. It was in a dingy neighborhood. I'm Miss Sproat.
Oh, Miss Sprout. You can move right in. The people left yesterday. Here, this is the key. It's the first door at the head of the stairs.
Fine, I'll go right up.
It ain't clean yet. Them stairs bother me so.
I'd really rather do it myself, thank you.
Well, I'll just leave you alone then.
Now I was Miss Annie Sproat, librarian, and I looked as much like Isabel Towns' baby face as an alley cat looks like a Persian. I sat down to write the last letter. Dear Mr. Rice, come to 609 Fitzgilbert Place at 10 p.m.
Friday. And don't try to come near me, or I'll scream my head off. Tap 5 times, come in, and stand right by the door while we make sure neither of us is double-crossing the other. Have the money in an unsealed envelope. I want that traveling money, but I'd rather take a chance on the cops than on you, so follow instructions. Slugger. You fool. You baby-faced fool.
He'd have to make sure the layout was right before he'd dare attack me. And the more precautions I took, the more he'd believe I was on the level. Near the door where he'd stand, I put a chest with a lamp on it. That was my booby trap, that lamp. The room was so dimly lit, he'd have to light my lamp to look at the wallet. And when he pulled the light chain, he'd shoot himself. I had a gun fixed where the bulb should be, and the chain pulled the trigger. It was set to get him in the chest. Heart, if I was lucky. Dead or not, I'd leave him there for the cops, with his wallet and clippings. Pretty cute, huh? And I'd skip out the back way with all that beautiful money, go to depot, become Isabel Towns again, safe and free. I wore gloves all the time I was there, and the suitcase with Isabel Towns' identity in it was ready by the back door. The hours passed like centuries, and the old house creaked like a sick old man in a squeaky bed. Of course, it might be the house, or it might be someone on the stairs. And then it was 10 o'clock. I was standing at the other end of the room, facing the door. The light was very dim. I heard the feet coming up the stairs, or was it just the creaking of the old house? No.
Good evening, Slugger. You see, I'm prompt, Slugger.
Stand where you are.
Certainly.
Did you bring the money?
Yes, indeed. Here. This envelope.
Throw it down in the middle of the room, between us. Go ahead, throw it down. It'll stay there while you examine the leather goods.
You have the wallet here.
Yes. Throw the money. I can't reach it from here, you know. It's quite safe.
All right. There. The wallet. Where is it?
On that chest beside you, by the lamp.
Oh. Yes. Well, thanks, Slugger.
Aren't you going to look to see that everything's there?
Why should I? I trust you. So long, babyface. See you around.
He's gotten away, alive. He must have guessed I'd done something to the lamp, so he was still alive and still dangerous.
But at least I had the money, the $5,000. I picked up the envelope and opened it. There was nothing in it but pieces of newspaper cut to the size of bills. Why, you dirty cheat! I ran to the door and opened it. I looked out, but he wasn't in sight. Maybe I could catch him before he got out of the house. Oh, you won't get away with this. I stepped into the hall, and before I could turn, I felt the rope around my neck. His hands were pulling it tight.
Baby, I told you I'd see you around. Didn't I?
There you are, baby. You're paid off in full. Now, we'll just go back inside. Let's see. I guess you'll be safe on the floor while we finish our business. Now, I'll take a look at that wallet, baby. You might have held out some of those clippings. I'll just turn on this light. Oh!
Thank you, Lucille Ball, for a splendid performance. Miss Ball will return in just a moment.
Say, Hap, you going back to Oregon?
Well, how long?
It's a nice trip if you can get it with an Autolite Stay Full battery. You know, I'd advise you to get a sign for your thumb saying, any car with Autolite Stay Full batteries can carry me. I forgot my canteen.
But how long?
Of course, you could buy an Autolite Stay Full battery and simply insist that whoever picked you up use your battery. But you couldn't get back to Oregon that way. No, sirree. They'd never let you out of the car just so they could keep that wonderful Autolite Stay Full battery. Let's see. After you got to Oregon, you could go to Washington, Montana, Minnesota, Maine, New York, and Florida.
Harlow, I've been trying to tell you I've got an Autolite Stay Full battery.
Oh, well, then you know that Autolite means battery.
Stay Full battery.
Autolite means spark plug.
Ignition-engineered spark plug.
Autolite means ignition system.
The lifeline of your car.
And now here again is Miss Lucille Ball.
It's always a great pleasure to appear on Suspense, especially when the part is so unusual and exciting.
That's right, Miss Ball. The part of Isabel tonight was very different from your regular radio role on My Favorite Husband.
Plug?
Why not?
Why not? Something like, listen to Lucille Ball as Liz Cougat on My Favorite Husband every Saturday night.
Over your favorite CBS station. All right?
Wonderful. And I hope all of you will be listening next week when Suspense presents William Powell in a role that's also different from the parts he's been playing lately. He's playing a man who's just stolen $250,000 and then finds out that... But you'll hear about it next Thursday when Suspense brings you Give Me Liberty, another gripping study in...
Suspense.
Lucille Ball may soon be seen in the Paramount production Sorrowful Jones. Barry Kroger was heard tonight in the part of the Strangler. Tonight's suspense play was written by Virginia Cross, with music composed by Lucian Moraweck and conducted by Lud Gluskin. The entire production was under the direction of Anton M. Leader. In the coming weeks, Suspense will present such stars as John Garfield, Margaret O'Brien, Sidney Greenstreet, Agnes Moorehead, Edmund O'Brien, and many others. Make it a point to listen each Thursday to Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills. And next Thursday, same time, hear William Powell in Give Me Liberty.
This is the Autolite Suspense Show. Here's your party, Miss Ball.
We should all support our local community chest in their drives for fun. Money is badly needed for aid to the handicapped, child care, hospitals, clinics, and a host of other humanitarian services. Subscribe to your local community chest. Everybody benefits, everybody gives. Thank you.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Now, the Roma Wine Company of Fresno, California presents
Suspense. Tonight, Roma Wines bring you A Shroud for Sarah, starring Miss Lucille Ball, soon to be seen in Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's Technicolor musical Ziegfeld Follies. Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills, presented for your enjoyment by Roma Wines. That's R-O-M-A, Roma Wines. Those excellent California wines that can add so much pleasantness to the way you live, to your happiness in entertaining guests, to your enjoyment of everyday meals. Yes, right now a glassful would be very pleasant as Roma Wines bring you Miss Lucille Ball in a remarkable tale of suspense.
Was Sarah? Sarah?
Come in, George. How did it go, darling? George, you're trembling. Something went wrong.
No, nothing went wrong.
You got it then?
Yeah, I got it stuffed in all my pockets. Here, I'll dump it on the bed. Here you are, Sarah. 17 grand.
17,000? It's more than we expected.
Yeah.
George, you're acting queerly. Did everything work out all right?
Sure it did. It was duck soup, just like old times, Sarah. Remember how every job clicked? Sure fire when we used to plan them together.
George.
Yeah?
You're lying, aren't you?
Sarah, you really love me, don't you?
Do you have to ask? Would I have come back otherwise?
10 years is a long time. I thought you'd be changed. I never thought you'd come back like this out of nowhere. I don't even know what you've been doing, where you've been living, what name you're using. You haven't told me a thing about yourself.
I will, George. I will, as soon as we get out of this apartment. As soon as we're really together, darling.
That's the way you want it, isn't it, Sarah?
Of course. Why do you think I never got a divorce? I didn't, you know. I didn't even consider it.
No, you didn't. And you could have. You certainly had a right with me up for 5 years on a felony. I'm glad you waited, Sarah. You won't regret it.
I'm sure I won't, George. But let's not talk about that now. We have a train to make.
You know, Sarah, you're as good to look at as you were 10 years ago.
Oh, you're just making talk, George, and you haven't answered my question. I want to know what went wrong.
I'd given up hope, Sarah. I didn't expect to see you again.
But I came back.
I've done 2 stretches, Sarah. 9 years in jail out of 10. I wouldn't have pulled another job if you hadn't shown up. You won't go away again, will you?
Only with you, George.
Sarah, the scent of your hair. I used to dream of it. Those long nights in jail. Now it's real. Holding you like this. With your hair on my face.
George, you're hurting me. Your arms.
I'm sorry. Just that I'm so afraid it isn't true having you again. I want to hold you tight forever.
George, what happened? What went wrong?
Sarah, I had to kill a man. Well, have you got anything to say?
Only the obvious. It's murder, then. That changes my plans.
Your plans?
My plans for us.
You're going to stick with me, aren't you?
Of course. I didn't come back after 10 years only to run right out again. And we must think this out carefully. Are you sure you left no clues?
Only the gun. I wiped it off clean and left it there. It's a gun I picked up years ago. No way to tack it on me.
Fingerprints?
Gloves.
Then there's nothing to worry about.
Only if they happen to pick me up on suspicion.
I see. Are they after you now, George?
Of course not. Nobody heard the shot. There was nobody in the building but that bald-headed bookkeeper. He hadn't gone home. Must have stayed to get his books in shape for the morning. My luck.
And you weren't followed or chased?
You don't think I'd have come here if they were after me?
I'm sorry, George. I know you wouldn't.
You're not sore at me, then? We can go ahead just as we planned? Our train leaves in an hour. We'll pick up the tickets at the station. Sarah, it's hard to believe in an hour we'll be on the way to Florida, you and I.
Yes, George.
Just the 2 of us. In the warm sun. It's a dream I've had for 10 years in and out of jail. I figured it would always be a dream. You know, it's funny.
What's funny?
There's a bald-headed man lying dead over there at the finance company. He's finished. And we're just beginning. I never killed a man, Sarah. Never before.
You'll do all right from now on, George. You'll forget about that thing. I'll help you forget it.
Yeah.
But we've got to hurry now. Put your hat on. And I'll go over and pick up the tickets.
Well, I thought we'd go to the station together.
Silly, I've got to dress.
Yeah, well, the Sunset Limited leaves at 8 o'clock. There's only an hour.
I know. I'll dress and pack and meet you in 30 minutes at the train gate. Have you any money? Here, take some of this. I'll put the rest in the valise and bring it in a cab so it won't be found on you if anything happens.
Why didn't you come back before, Sarah? I didn't realize it till this minute. I've been like an orphan for 10 years. Kiss me.
Now, that's all, George. You've got to hurry now.
Yeah. Remember, the Sunset Limited at the gate.
I'll remember.
And don't forget to clean out the desk.
I'll take care of everything, George. Now, hurry. Hello? Police headquarters? A man was killed a few minutes ago at the Vanda Finance Company on Dexter Avenue. Please don't interrupt. If you go to the LaSalle station, you'll catch the murderer at the Sunset Limited train gate. His name is Monk. George Monk.
For Suspense, Roma Wines are bringing you as star Miss Lucille Ball in A Shroud for Sarah by Emil C. Tepperman. Roma Wines' presentation tonight in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Between the acts of Suspense, this is Truman Bradley for Roma Wines. Saturday is Navy Day. On this day, all America gives honor to the returning veterans of the fleet. To these men, all America lifts its voice to say, well done. This weekend, too, millions of Americans will be entertaining family and friends. To them, here's a hospitality word from famed hostess Elsa Maxwell. My guests compliment me when I make delicious Roma California sherry first call for dinner. It's the perfect appetizer before the meal, served cool. Yes, Miss Maxwell, Roma sherry is most delightful later in the evening, too, when friends drop in, especially when served with tasty snacks. For glorious gold and amber, Roma sherry is a happy, mellow wine with natural fragrance and cream-rich, nut-like taste. So good because Roma sherry, like all Roma wines, is born of luscious grapes gathered at peak of flavor in California's choicest vineyards. Gently pressed, then unhurriedly guided to delicious perfection by Roma's ancient winemaking skill, bottled at Roma's own famed wineries. That's why all Roma wines are true wines, unvaryingly good always. Remember, because of uniformly fine quality at reasonable cost, more Americans enjoy Roma than any other wine. Insist on Roma, R-O-M-A, Roma wines.
And now, Roma Wines bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Lucille Ball as Sarah Martell in A Shroud for Sarah, a play well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I'm coming.
Oh, I knew it was you, Sarah. Only you would ring so insistently when you know I'm handicapped by this infernal crutch.
Good evening, Peter. How's our next governor? Aren't you going to kiss me? I've been away 3 days.
Is it necessary, my dear?
Peter, are you going to let the neighbors see me standing out here with this valise? Kiss me, you idiot. You can stand it if I can.
Very well. Satisfied, my dear? Now that we've performed for the neighbors, shall we go in?
The city's underworld, it appears, has broken out again with a new wave of violence, robbery, and potential gang
I see you've moved the radio again.
I moved it nearer the easy chair. This crutch makes it hard for me to get around. I hope you don't mind, my dear. I mean, it's being more convenient for me.
Is that the news? I want to hear it.
Police are seeking George Monk, an ex-convict who shot and killed the finance company bookkeeper and escaped with $17,000 in cash.
What do you want to turn that up
Bookkeeper
for?
had
It's
evidently
nothing
been
but a
surprised
sordid
by the
murder.
Oh, shut up.
and shot without warning. But there's a mystery angle here which sets this case apart from the ordinary holdup. Police are seeking an unidentified woman who tipped them off a few minutes after the murder, naming George Monk.
and telling them just where he could be picked up. Unfortunately, one of the officers sent to apprehend the murderer was recognized by Monk, who made his escape in the crowded railroad station.
What's the matter, my dear? Why did you turn the radio off? You look as if you'd seen a ghost.
Leave me alone, Peter.
Well, what sort of villainy were you up to in Chicago?
Sarah, come back here. Where are you going?
I'm going up to my room. I want to unpack. Good night, Peter.
Burglary in Chicago. Mysterious woman who tipped off the police.
Just a moment, Sarah.
I said good night, Peter.
$17,000.
Sarah, I want to know what's in that valise. Why are you hanging on to it like that?
Stay where you are, Peter. Don't come up these stairs.
What's wrong? Are you afraid to let me see what's in that valise?
No, I'm not afraid. Just don't come up any closer.
Well, that same little pistol of yours. Would you shoot me with it again, my dear?
If you come a step further.
Drop the gun. You're not going to shoot me now, just before election. You want to be the governor's lady, don't you?
Stand still, Peter.
I'm sorry, Sarah. I've got to know what's in there.
Take another step, I'll shoot.
You're a fool, Sarah. Clever and ruthless, yes, but nevertheless a fool. Look at all the terrible things you've done to satisfy your ambition. Even murder now. And it's all been a waste of time.
What do you mean?
Did you know that the results of the popular poll were published today?
Well?
It gives Stephen Archer a 15% edge over me. And not only that, but the incumbent governor, the man we're both trying to beat, ran ahead of the two of us in the poll.
You're not lying about that?
Of course not, my dear. How did you expect to beat Stephen Archer and his money? We're broke.
No, Peter, we're not broke.
Oh? You mean you have $17,000 in that bag?
I'm going to be the governor's wife, I tell you. There's nothing that could stop me. Nothing.
I believe you, Sarah. Why, I believe you would even murder Archer if you had to. Let me have that valise.
You can't seem to understand, Peter. You're not going to open it.
Then shoot me, my dear. You do it so well. It comes so natural to you. Maybe you can shoot me in the other leg this time.
Oh, will you never stop throwing it up to me? That was an accident.
A very fortunate accident, wasn't it, Sarah? Just when I was ready to accept a commission in the Army. You didn't want to be the wife of an Army captain. Your ambition ran higher than that. You wanted to be the governor's lady. Now, Sarah, I'm going to see what you have there. And you're not going to do anything about it.
Get away from me, Peter!
No, Sarah, you're going to give them to me. First the gun. And now that black... Sarah, don't! The stairs! Sarah. Oh, Sarah.
Please go straight into the bedroom, Doctor. Peter fell again and hurt his leg in the same place.
Now, look here, Mrs. Martell. What's the use of keeping up this deception between ourselves? You know and I know that your husband didn't fall the last time. That was a bullet wound in his leg.
Dr. Varney, you promised never to mention that bullet wound.
And you promised to pay me, remember? $10,000. Where's the money?
Don't worry, I have it.
Oh, well, that's different. Where is it? I'll take it now.
Later. Please go in now and take care of Peter.
Did you shoot him again?
Of course not. That was an accident the last time. I was examining the pistol and it went off.
Yes, of course. That's the story, Mrs. Martell. And for $10,000, I'll gladly subscribe to it. But I must have that money. I need it. I won't touch that leg till I get the money.
All right. I have it here.
Oh.
There. That's $10,000. Now hurry in there and take care of Peter. Afterwards, I'll want to see you in here. There may be another matter that I'll want you to handle for me.
Yes, that's $10,000. Another matter?
You are also the physician for Stephen Archer, aren't you?
Yes.
You've been attending him every day during the campaign. I understand his heart needs attention.
Look here, Mrs. Martell. Stephen Archer's running against your husband for governor. I wonder when you originally called me in, did you know I was Archer's physician?
Could be.
Huh. Well, I'm sorry I can't discuss Archer with you.
The ethics of your profession. Please, Dr. Varney. If your fellow practitioners knew what I know about you, you wouldn't have any profession.
I won't listen to any more from you. I'll take care of that leg of your husband's, but more than that, no.
Oh, but I'm sure you'll change your mind, Doctor.
Whatever your proposition is, the answer is no.
Even if I were to offer $50,000.
$50,000?
There, now, I knew you'd be interested. Now run inside like a nice fellow and tend to Peter. I'll go out for a few minutes, but please wait for me. There's an appointment I must keep. I won't be long.
Martell, park is rather a dark place to meet, isn't it?
I thought it would be best this way. Great deal of money?
Just what is your proposition?
You're a wealthy man. Would $100,000 be too much to pay for the governorship?
$100,000? I've spent several times that much on the campaign already, but I don't see how you could deliver the election.
Listen to me closely, Mr. Archer.
Yeah?
I learned that in yesterday's poll figures, you ran 15% ahead of my husband.
That's quite true.
But neither you or Peter will win. You're both taking strength from each other, and the governor will be reelected.
So your solution is for Peter Martell to withdraw at the price of $100,000.
Exactly. If one of you withdraws, the other will surely win.
That's absolutely true. But I happen to know that Peter Martell would never make such a deal.
No, he wouldn't, the fool. But for $100,000, I will put him out of the race.
You?
Would you believe it if I told you I hated that man's very shadow?
I have heard rumors here and there.
I want to leave him. I want to be rid of him forever. Where could I go without money? What could I do? He's so disgustingly honest that we're always broke. He couldn't even pay me enough alimony. I've got to think for myself.
I begin to see...
Now, suppose that tomorrow, 2 days before the election, I were to file suit for divorce. I could leave for Reno tonight. It would be in every newspaper tomorrow.
It would certainly eliminate your husband.
You'd pick up all the votes Peter would lose. Enough to swing the election.
And your price is $100,000.
You agree?
I'd be a fool not to. Of course I agree. The moment you file your divorce papers in Reno, I'll have $100,000 credited to your account wherever you specify.
No, I must have it in advance.
No, my dear Mrs. Martell.
In advance.
It's out of the question. How do I know you'll go through with it after I pay you?
And how do I know you'll pay me after I go through with it?
Don't you trust me?
Do I have to answer that?
It looks like a deadlock.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take half now and the other half in Reno after I've filed the papers.
$50,000 tonight, eh?
It must be tonight. I'll leave in the midnight plane. Surely you have the cash available in a campaign like this.
Yes, of course I have the cash. That seems to be the only solution. It's a deal, Mrs. Martell.
You'll get the money now?
At once. Wait here. My home is just across the park. I'll be back in 5 minutes. But just as a precaution, I'm going to note down the serial numbers of the bills I give you. If you aren't in Reno tomorrow morning, I shall report the money stolen.
Don't worry, Mr. Archer. I promise you. After tonight, there won't be anything to worry about. Still waiting for me, I see, Dr. Varney.
Well, it took a long time. I was just deciding to leave.
You took care of Peter all right?
Yes, the wound opened up again. It was painful, but not as bad as it looked. He'll be up again by tomorrow.
Thank you, Doctor.
Oh, you said you wanted to talk to me.
Yes, I have a little proposition for you.
You mentioned $50,000.
Yes. Yes, I have the money in my handbag. Here. Go on, take it. Now count it.
Ah. Yes. What do you want me to do?
Doctor, have you ever murdered anyone?
What?
I said, have you ever murdered anyone?
Why, you're joking.
You'd hardly call murder a joke.
What are you suggesting?
You are Stephen Archer's physician. You stop at his home every night and check his heart. And you give him a sedative.
No. I'm going out of this house, Mrs. Martell, and I'm never coming back.
Before you go, Doctor, I'll take that money back. $50,000, Doctor. It's a lot of money.
Yes,
I know just how deep you are in the red. $50,000 will put you on your feet again.
Well,
And you'll have the friendship of the wife of the next governor.
You want me to give Archer an overdose of sedative, huh?
I knew you'd be reasonable, Barney.
Good morning, my dear. I see you're at the radio already. Aren't you up early today? I thought all the Borgias slept late.
I wanted to hear the news.
Indeed. Could it be a person by the name of George Monk that you're so anxious to hear about?
What do you mean? Why do you mention that name?
The Black Valise, my dear. Remember, I'm still anxious to know if it contains $17,000.
3 guests and 1 fireman were injured, and damages are assessed at
Have you taken the newspaper in yet?
$5,000.
No? Well, I'll get it. There'll be something in this morning's paper that I'd like you to see, my dear.
Stephen Archer, candidate in the 3-cornered race for governor, was found dead in his bed, apparently from an overdose of sedative. All indications point to accidental death, except for the fact that a large sum of money was missing from the safe. However, if the money was stolen, it'll do the thief no good, for the serial numbers were carefully noted down on the desk pad on Mr. Archer's desk.
What was that? Archer dead?
Yes.
Sarah, I read the signs of your fine Italian hand. Did you have a hand in it?
Peter.
So now Archer's votes will drop in my lap, huh?
You'll be governor, Peter.
Sarah, I think I'm going to kill you.
Put that crutch down.
No, my dear. You needn't run away. I was just rehearsing. I'm not ready to kill you yet. Perhaps someone else will do it first. I'm going to wait for the result of my experiment.
Experiment? What do you mean?
See? Here.
What? What is it, Peter?
Just an ad in the personal column. I had it inserted in every newspaper between here and Chicago.
Let me see that.
It's the first ad in the column with display space around it. I wanted to make sure it was seen by the right person. Read it, Sarah, read it.
All right, if it makes you happy, I will read it. George, was her name Sarah? Or did she use another name? I mean the one who left with the little black valise and all the money in it. If you have at least 17,000 reasons to find her, and if the traveling isn't too difficult under the circumstances, I suggest you come to Capital City. The address is... Peter, you didn't!
Isn't it cleverly worded, my dear? I had to phrase it so that only George Monk and no one else would catch its meaning.
You put this ad in all the papers?
Exactly. You see, my dear, if that little black valise did not contain $17,000, you have nothing to fear. But if it did, well, then I may be spared the chore of killing you. I'll let George do it.
Hello? Mrs. Martell?
Who is this?
Dr. Varney.
Oh.
Who do you think it was?
I thought... Never mind. What do you want, Barney?
Don't you know? Think you're pretty clever, don't you?
What do you mean?
That was Archer's own money you gave me last night, that $50,000.
Barney, are you insane? Don't you realize you're talking over an open phone?
I only realize I murdered Archer for you for nothing. That $50,000 I can't use. The serial numbers have been broadcast.
My dear Barney, I haven't the faintest notion what you're talking about.
How clever you are, Sarah Martell. How clever. And how dangerous. Yes, too dangerous to live.
The medical examiner's all through with the body, Inspector.
All right, O'Connor, all right. Then I guess we're finished, too. Tell Mike to be careful with the body. And put down in your report, dead on arrival, murdered by person or persons unknown. I'll sign it when I get downtown. She was a beautiful woman, O'Connor. It's a tough way to die.
A tough way indeed, Inspector.
How's Mr. Martell taking it?
Like a trooper, sir. Here he comes now with his doctor.
All right, O'Connor. I'll see you downtown.
Yes, sir. Goodbye, Inspector.
Are you pretty near through, Inspector?
Yes, Mr. Martell. The boys are taking the body away now. May I say, Mr. Martell, that you have my deepest sympathy in this bereavement of yours.
Thank you, Inspector. Oh, by the way, do you know Dr. Varney?
Oh, how do you do, Doctor?
How do you do? A ghastly business, Inspector.
Yes, indeed, and we'll do everything in our power to lay that murderer by the heels.
Inspector.
Yes, Dr. Varney?
Have you any clues, anything definite to go on?
Well, if you don't mind my talking about it now, Mr. Martell.
Oh, it's all right, Inspector. I'm afraid I'm going to have to listen to a good deal of talking about it. Might as well get used to it.
A very wise and courageous way to look at it, Mr. Martell. Well, as I was saying, I believe it was a maniac. That's my firm conviction.
A maniac?
Right. Who but a maniac would have stayed in there to torment that poor dead body? Can you imagine a sane man first choking her to death with his hands, then stabbing her with some keen instrument, then bashing her head in with a blunt instrument?
Well, Varney, that was quite an ordeal.
It was terrible.
Varney.
Yes?
You hated her very much, didn't you?
No more than you did, Mr. Martell.
I won't deny it. It's true.
You haven't been using your crutch this morning.
Huh? What made you think of the crutch?
Oh, nothing.
A blunt instrument, huh? That's all right, Varney. I don't mind your asking. I was thinking along the same lines myself, only it was the keen instrument I had in mind, say a scalpel.
Now, look here.
Skip it, Varney. I was just making conversation.
Oh. You know, there's something I don't understand.
Yes, Barney?
Yes?
Yes?
Nothing at all. Nothing.
I know what you want to ask. You want to know who was the third man.
Well,
I'll show you, Barney. My keys. Here.
Huh? What do you got in that closet?
A guest, Barney. Shall I say, an invited guest? You can come out now, George. The coast is clear.
Thought you meant to bury me alive in there.
Tell, who's this man?
Dr. Varney, George Monk. Shake hands, gentlemen. No? Very well. I thought it would be right for all three of us to be together for a moment.
What are you talking about, Martel?
Listen carefully, Varney, and you, George. Each one of us was in her room last night. The cumulative effect of our individual deeds has convinced the inspector that a maniac murdered my wife. But we three know better. However, there is one of us who knows more than the other two. One of us killed her first. I say first because the other two were not one whit less murderers for the fact that she was already dead.
The three of us. We all did it.
Yes, George. And I suppose that by checking each other and comparing notes, we could determine, to the satisfaction of all of us, just who took precedence. For instance, when I heard you move about in the closet this morning and turn the key on you, I had no way of telling how long you'd been in the house. And I don't want to know.
Then two of us will always be in doubt.
Exactly, Barney. Do you agree to it?
Yes.
And you, George?
Yes.
Then, goodbye, gentlemen.
Roma Wines have brought you Lucille Ball, a star of A Shroud for Sarah. Tonight's study in Suspense.
This is Truman Bradley for Roma Wines, the sponsor of Suspense. When unexpected guests make a mealtime call, well, anything can happen. Famed hostess Elsa Maxwell makes this timely suggestion. Invite them to stay for potluck and make the dinner exciting by serving Roma California Burgundy. For no matter what the dish, the fruity fragrance and piquant taste of robust red Roma Burgundy makes the food so much more enjoyable, adds friendliness to the table talk. That's right. Glassfuls of good Roma Burgundy served cool makes any simple meal more exciting, more delicious. But don't wait for unexpected guests. Try Roma Burgundy with dinner tomorrow. You'll enjoy this vintner's masterpiece. Like all Roma wines, this is wine at its best in uniform quality, yet costs only pennies a glass. Always insist on Roma wines. No other wine offers you so much for so little.
Next Thursday, you will hear Ronald Coleman in Suspense, radio's outstanding theater thrill.
Presented by Roma Wines, R-O-M-A, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world. There is an immediate need in most hospitals for auxiliary non-nursing personnel. Approximately 90,000 men and women must be recruited if hospitals are to provide patients with even minimum services. The present critical lack of hospital workers of all kinds is substantially reducing the amount of nursing care per patient because nurses must spend so much of their time on non-professional tasks. Although the need varies in different sections of the country, there is an overall need for orderlies, laundrymen, chefs, electricians, plumbers, janitors, and so forth. Men and women, both skilled and unskilled, who want to work in a hospital in any capacity, can now get secure, well-paid jobs with a post-war future. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Suspense. Autolite and its 96,000 dealers present Miss Lucille Ball and Mr. Desi Arnaz in The Red-Headed Woman, a suspense play produced and edited by William Spear.
Well, Hap, are you over your cold?
Oh, no, Harlow. I still feel run down.
Hey, watch your words. We're on for Autolite Stay Full batteries, remember? And Autolite has done everything to keep these brawny bundles of endless energy from running down. Why, Autolite Stay Full batteries have extra water reserve above the plates to foil failure from lack of liquid. Need water only 3 times a year in normal car use. They've even got fiberglass retaining mats at every positive plate for longer battery life. Why, in recent tests based on SAE life cycle standards, Autolite Stay Full batteries gave 70% longer average life than batteries without Stay Full features. So, friends, see your Autolite battery dealer and get an Autolite Stay Full battery for your car. You're always right with Autolite.
And now, with The Red-Headed Woman, and with the performance of Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball, Autolite hopes once again to keep you in suspense.
Jensen Corporation. Hello?
Hello, Linda?
Yes. Oh, hello, Frank. Oh, look, darling, I thought I told you not to call
I know.
me.
I shouldn't call you at the office. I'm sorry, Redhead, but I had to talk to you. You see,
Well, darling, you sound so grim. Is there anything wrong?
Oh, this is going to be tough, Linda, but you see, it's kind of hard to explain, but...
Well, go on, dear. You can tell me anything. You know that.
Oh, you're sure swell, Linda. That's why it's so hard to tell you.
Frank, you haven't committed a murder or anything, have you?
Oh, no, of course not.
Well, what is it then?
Linda, please, I tried to tell you last night. I know it's hard to justify, but...
But what? Frank, you've met someone else, is that it?
Yes, Linda. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's quite all right. Is she blonde or brunette?
Oh, honestly, honey, Linda, I couldn't help it. It was one of these things. It just happens. Sometimes things do.
Well, you don't have to explain, Frank. I'll send your ring back this afternoon. I hope it fits her. Good luck. Tears came, and then I tried to laugh it off. And then I felt myself getting good and mad. What a fool I'd been. For 2 years, my every thought, my every move had been patterned toward Frank's wishes and welfare. Other girls, the selfish type, were holding their men. It was... Well, I'd made up my mind that the future would be different. From that minute on, I'd think of myself first, last, and always. Suddenly, I wanted to get away, do things, have beautiful clothes, money, especially money. I suppose it's the kind of independence any woman wants to grab for in a moment like that, when she's found out you can't depend on a man.
Good morning, Linda.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Jensen.
Feeling all right?
Of course. Why shouldn't I?
Well, I don't know. You just seemed a little despondent.
No, I'm fine.
Good. Oh, will you put this away for me?
What? Payroll money? Well, it's only the 5th, isn't it?
I'm going to Florida for a couple of weeks, Linda.
Oh.
I drew the payroll money today because I'm leaving tomorrow.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Yes, doesn't it? I've been thinking about it for years. Say, why don't you take a few days off while I'm gone, Linda?
What? Oh.
Why don't you, Linda? It's a good idea. Certainly I won't be needing you.
Well, I could come in on the 14th and handle the payroll.
Oh, you needn't bother. I can get Walters.
Well, he's pretty busy, Mr. Jensen. I'll come back and handle it. I'll just be in the country somewhere close by. Thank you, Mr. Jensen. Looking back, I suppose I thought of stealing the payroll right then. I must have, for a few minutes after Mr. Jensen left, I visualized how easy it would be. Only he and I had the combination to the safe. He'd be far away in Florida for 2 whole weeks. I could leave the next day. I could have at least 10 days before anyone could find out anything was wrong. I thought about Frank and that brush-off he'd given me. How easily I might forget him in new surroundings. Well, when I closed the office that evening, I took the envelope with $21,000 in bills and stuffed it into my handbag. Then, I don't know why, I took the gun Mr. Jensen always kept in the safe. Next morning, I left Kansas City and began driving west. By the next afternoon, I was well into Texas on the inland route. I knew vaguely that I had to get across the border, but the actual fact that I was a criminal hadn't quite percolated yet. A few miles out of Big Spring, the weather changed, and dark gray clouds replaced the blue skies. Then I came to a roadblock, and I had to detour. It was a winding, makeshift road of dirt that stretched on and on for miles. I hated going so slow, but there wasn't anything I could do about it, so I switched on the radio and tried to feel comfortable and forget what I had done. Then a few drops of rain splashed against the windshield, and I hoped that I'd make the main highway before it really let loose. It was then that I heard the announcement.
This afternoon, in one of the most daring daylight holdups in Texas history, the 7th Bank of Abilene was robbed of $40,000. As far as is known, only 2 persons participated. A tall, dark-complexioned young man wearing a light gray suit and hat, and an attractive red-haired woman dressed in a green suit. In effecting their successful getaway, one of them shot and critically wounded an elderly bank guard, a veteran of World War I. The couple left in a green panel truck and are believed headed in the general direction of El Paso. More news after our next music.
Well, these were worse criminals than I was by far, and they'd made a getaway. I shut off the radio. To my right, black letters loomed suddenly against the yellow background of a sign. Midland, Odessa, Pecos. I slowed down to 30, rounding a series of blind curves. Coming around the last one, I saw a man standing in the middle of the road. I jammed down my brakes to keep from hitting him. He started walking toward me.
I'm very sorry to bother you this way, but my car is out of gas, and I was wondering, could you perhaps let me siphon a little from your tank?
Well, sorry, but I'm low myself.
Oh, please, don't be like that. I've been waiting here for hours. You're the first car I've seen. I would just take a little.
Well, I can't. Honestly, I...
All right. Then perhaps you would be so kind as to give me a little lift to the next gas station? Well... Oh, come on now. Don't you believe in the good neighbor policy?
Well, all right. Get in.
Thanks a lot. We'll find a gas station right on here someplace. I won't even take you out of your way.
Well, that's all right. I'm going in the general direction of
El Paso?
El Paso. It all came together suddenly. The radio announcement and this man who was just sitting down beside me. He fitted perfectly. Dark complexion, light gray suit. I glanced at the car parked by the side of the road. Yes, it was a green panel truck.
Well, senorita?
Look, I'm terribly sorry, but I don't think I can take you after all. You see,
Oh, now, please. I have been marooned here for 2 hours. It's very important that I get to Pecos in the next 2 hours.
Oh, and where are you going after that?
Me? I'm going to travel all over. After Pecos, I'm going to beat it down to Juarez. That's across the border. From there, we're going...
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Look, I would like to pay you for helping me.
He drew a sheaf with new bills from his pocket and dropped a fresh 20 into my lap. I opened my handbag and my fingers closed around Mr. Jensen's gun. He looked down at it.
Hey, what?
I said I've changed my mind.
Okay. That's the way you feel. I don't argue with a girl who's got a gun.
I didn't even wait for him to close the door. I let out the clutch, stepped on the gas, and got away fast. When I finally reached the highway, I speeded up still more. I'd had a bad scare. I wanted to talk to someone about anything and forget that man. Maybe that was why I was so relieved when I came to the little town of Pecos and saw the carnival a short distance ahead, and why I stopped to look at it. Even from the car, the bright lights and the people and the carousel, gaily painted horses going round and round made me feel less lonely. I wanted to get out and mingle with the people and drink some pink lemonade and buy a red candied apple. Go in one of the midway tents and see Tortoro, the sword swallower, and Lopez, the ventriloquist. But instead, I ate a hot dog in the car and bought a silver ashtray from a little Indian girl. And a sudden burst of thunder reminded me of the approaching storm. I started the car and left the carnival behind me. The shock. I'm in no position to risk their maybe tracing the call and finding out my name and investigating me. I hung up the receiver. I went out and wheedled a cup of coffee and a donut out of my host. And then I went up to my cabin and went to bed. I woke up about 10 o'clock. A car had driven up and stopped right outside my window. The headlights were shining in. When I got up to pull down the shade, I saw the car. It was the green panel truck I'd seen on the road, and this time a woman was in the front seat. Then the proprietor and the other man came out of the cabin next to mine.
All right.
I lowered my shade and then listened to
I'll wait till the storm is over, and then I'll go on to El Paso. Is it all right if I leave my truck out here?
Sure. There's a garage in back if you want to use it.
No, thanks. I'll just park it here near to the door.
I heard him enter his cabin. I locked my door and sat down on the bed. It was very quiet next door. Finally, I guess I must have dozed off. But then, all of a sudden, I was awake again. Voices, a man's and a woman's, were coming from the cabin next door. I got up, opened my window very quietly, and listened.
Saturday, Mommy, it's mine, Jose. I don't think you had better forget that. If you do, you will be sorry. Very sorry.
You are wrong, Carmencita. It will not be me who is sorry.
What do you mean?
It shouldn't be difficult for you to figure that out.
You mean? Oh, but that is so funny. You couldn't get along without me. No. Not even for 1 week. Not 1 week.
I would not laugh if I were you, Carmen.
Wait, Jose. Don't do it. You're just trying to be funny. No. You don't do it. Jose, no. Please don't.
After that, everything was quiet. I was stunned, frozen. Then I heard his door open. I hurried to my window and carefully raised the shade a few inches. It was quite dark, and at first I could only hear his footsteps. And then I saw him. He snapped on a flashlight, looked around with it. He was carrying a roll of blankets, and he put it down carefully in the wet grass. Then he opened the rear door of the green panel truck. There was a long, oblong box on the floor. He stooped over and lifted what I thought was the roll of blankets. But I was wrong. From one end, a head was visible. A woman's head, with red hair. I must have thrown up my hands and hit the window shade. It clattered to the top. In the tense silence of the night, it sounded like a machine gun. The man outside spun around. He trained his flashlight on me. He took a long look. Then he turned around and dropped his gruesome bundle into the long box. I turned away. I couldn't look anymore. Finally, I heard him walk toward his cabin, go inside, and shut the door. Then I took a chance. I threw on my raincoat and shoes and hurried to the proprietor's office. I knocked on his door and called to him. There was no answer. So I wrote a quick note and slipped it under his door and hurried back to my cabin. I closed my door and was just fumbling with the key when the lights went on.
No use to lock it now, senorita, and don't make a noise.
He was sitting in a chair, smiling, casually pointing a gun at me. My gun that I'd foolishly left on the dresser.
You were not so very smart, were you, sweetheart? This gun, it looks nice. I think you handle it good, too. I almost found out this afternoon on the road, didn't I?
Now, look, I wasn't going to use it, honestly, but, well, you know, you read a lot in the papers about the trouble people get into picking up strangers, and
Yes, sure. You're always careful. Stay out of trouble. Mind your own business. That is very good to remember, senorita.
That's all I was doing. Well, what do you want with me?
It's just too bad you looked out on me just now. I wouldn't have known you were here.
I didn't mean to spy on you. I was awake, and when I heard a noise outside, I looked out, that's all. That was natural, wasn't it?
Maybe, but it didn't turn out so good for you, did it? Come on now, we're getting out of here, and you are coming with me.
But where are we going?
Just places, senorita, just places. Come on now.
But what do you want with me? You don't want me.
Don't want you? Why, I'm crazy for you. I've been looking for you. I've been looking for somebody just like you.
Autolite is bringing you Miss Lucille Ball and Mr. Desi Arnaz in The Red-Headed Woman, tonight's production in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Feeling better, Hap? No, Harlow. I think I'll take the vacation my doctor advised.
Decided where you'll go?
Not yet.
Well, how about the Atlantic Ocean, or the Great Lakes, or the Mississippi River?
Say, that's a lot of water.
Right. It'll remind you of Autolite's Stay Full batteries, that they have longer and larger liquid reserve above the plates as compared to ordinary batteries. Need water only 3 times a year in normal car use. Or, hey, better still, Hap, visit the zoo, see the camels. Tell them Wilcox sent you.
What? And get tossed out on my ear for suggesting that Autolite stay-full batteries can go without water longer than camels can?
Well, tell them about those fiberglass retaining mats protecting every positive plate for longer battery life. Tell them that in recent tests based on SAE life cycle standards, Autolite stay-full batteries gave 70% longer average life than batteries without stay-full features. Well, wherever you go, Hap, take along an Autolite stay-full battery. You're always right with Autolite.
And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage our stars Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball in The Red-Headed Woman, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
It was quite a moment. Jose motioned with a gun for me to pick up my suitcase. And right then the door opened and the proprietor came in.
I got your note, miss. Well, what's all this? What's the gun for, mister?
Oh, it belongs to the lady. She was just showing it to me.
Oh, yeah? Well, yes. Yes, that's right. I'll take it back now.
This man bothering you, miss? Is that why you left the note?
No,
I've remembered my position again. I thought of the $21,000 in my handbag. I wanted this murderer locked up, but I didn't want to risk too much investigation.
I wasn't bothering her.
No, I just thought I heard someone at the window. And when I couldn't find you, I went next door, and this gentleman was kind enough to...
Yeah, guess I owe you an apology, mister. But then when I saw you with a gun...
It's okay. Forget it. Forget it, amigo.
Sure. Well, good night.
All right, you stand over there.
Well, I guess you must be crazy for me, eh? To lie for me like you did?
No, I'm just fond of myself. Things have kind of changed, haven't they, Jose?
Oh, you know my name, too.
I know all about you.
Really? Yes, I guess things have changed.
All right, now. That was a good idea you had before about leaving here. Come on, pick up my suitcase.
Yes, ma'am. Where are we going?
Like you said, places, Jose. Just places. Now walk quietly. My car's right outside.
Anything you say, senorita.
He drove while I held the gun. After we'd gone about 5 miles, we came to a side road. I told him to turn.
It's a pretty deserted neighborhood, no?
Yes.
Please tell me, where are we going?
Oh, you're not going very far.
You know, I wish you didn't make me leave my truck back there.
Oh, you're worried about what's in that pile of blankets, huh?
Yes, that's right. Somebody might find her. Senorita, please.
Not a chance.
Oh, look, now, why don't we talk this thing over? I think maybe we could.
I'm not buying a thing.
Well, I certainly hope you know what you're doing. Uh-oh. I'm sorry, but we're stuck in the mud.
Oh, well, that's a very fancy trick, but it won't work.
You don't believe me?
No.
Well, then get out and see for yourself.
And have you drive off and leave me? Oh, no, thanks. Come on, start the car.
But I'm telling you the truth. We're stuck in this ditch.
You better start the car, mister.
Okay. Anything you say. See?
Try it again.
All right, but it'll only get us in deeper.
Well, what do we do next?
You're running the show. You tell me.
Okay, I'll tell you. Get out of the car.
What do I do now?
Pick up some broken branches and put them under the wheels.
Like I said, you are running the show.
No, never mind. It's too dark. I can't see you. Get back in the car here.
But you give up too easy. Why don't you think of using a flashlight?
I don't have one.
Well, maybe if you ask me real nice, I will let you use mine.
Where is it?
It's here, in my coat pocket. All right, senorita, drop the gun. Quickly.
It was over in a second. Before I knew it, he'd reached in his pocket and jumped behind me. I'd forgotten the most important thing of all. I hadn't searched him. I could feel the gun against my back.
Now you're going to get into the car. Hurry.
Yes, sir.
Now you will drive for a while, no?
But I thought we were stuck.
That is exactly what I wanted you to think. Good, eh? Start the car. You know, senorita, You should have searched me before we started.
Yes, I've already figured that out.
Yeah.
But this whole thing is kind of new to me.
Oh, come on. Let's quit the kidding. You know, I think you would have been very surprised if you would have searched me. You know why?
Nothing would surprise me.
Oh, I think so. Because you wouldn't have found any gun. Only this.
A flashlight.
It feels very much like a gun against your back, doesn't it? Especially when you're very frightened.
Look, let me go. I swear I'll never bother you again.
You won't bother me. Not where you're going. You won't bother anyone. Drive a little faster, please.
I drove for several miles without saying a word. Then I took a chance. I speeded up to 60, then jammed the brake to the floor. Jose's head banged against the windshield. He dropped the gun. I grabbed it almost before it hit the floorboard. Now, out again, Mr. Finnegan. We're going to change seats.
Oh, my head. That was very smart, baby. Very smart.
And almost as good as your flashlight gun trick, hmm?
It's better. Your trick wins. Oh, well. What cooks now?
We're heading straight into El Paso Police Department.
But, baby, you can't do that.
Why can't I?
Because it's too foolish. And the senorita is not a fool.
No, the senorita isn't. That's why you're driving straight to El Paso and the police.
Yes, ma'am. Whatever you say. I certainly hope you know what you're doing.
Now, the senorita has learned a lot in the last few hours. Drive carefully. He shrugged his shoulders and settled back behind the wheel. I decided I'd been needlessly concerned about the police. After all, no one knew I had the $21,000 in my handbag. No one even knew it was missing. When I handed the police the man they were looking for, they wouldn't bother about me. They would accept my statement that I was just a secretary on my way to Mexico for a vacation. As we entered the outskirts of El Paso, I switched on the radio and settled back to enjoy it.
And now our Texas roundup of the latest Texas news. Texans who expect quick and speedy action when it comes to lawbreakers in our state won't be disappointed when they hear the outcome of the bank holdup and killing of a guard in Abilene 2 days ago.
What? What's that?
Be quiet, listen.
Manuel Milani, a non-Texan, and Betty Murphy, a red-haired Californian, were apprehended today in Big Spring, only 61 hours after their spectacular holdup of the 7th Bank of Abilene. Both freely confessed to the crime. The bravery of our Texas...
Hey, wait a minute.
You wait a minute. Stop the car. Now, I don't believe it.
Neither do I.
You don't? All right, then. Who was it you killed?
Me? I didn't kill anybody.
Oh, stop it. It was your accomplice. I heard the argument, and then you killed her, and then you...
Oh, you're crazy.
What do you mean I'm crazy? Right this minute, there's a red-haired woman dead in the back of your truck.
What? Oh. Oh, boy, that's a good one. You know, you're right. You did hear an argument, and you did see me put a red-haired woman in the trunk.
She was dead.
Yes, that's right. She has been dead all her life.
She's...
The argument, as you say you heard, went something like this.
Half of the money? It is mine, Jose. I don't think you had better forget that. If you do, you will be sorry, very sorry.
You are wrong, Carmencita. I will not be me that is sorry.
You couldn't get by without me. No, not even for 1 week. Not 1 week.
For heaven's sake. A ventriloquist.
What do you mean, a ventriloquist? I am the best. Jose Lopez, the great.
Oh, what a relief.
Your relief? What about me? I thought the whole time, here I am traveling with a criminal.
Me? How could you think that I was a...
Why not? You got the red hair, you're wearing the green suit, just like the description. Hey, listen, there's only one other thing that is confusing me.
What's that?
How come you carry such a big bankroll? All these thousands of dollars in your purse.
Well,
Yes?
Well, you... Oh, what's the use? I might as well tell you the whole story. And you know, I found myself doing it. And Jose explained to me how silly I'd been to ever try such a thing. And then it struck us that it was still only the 13th of the month. So we drove back to Kansas City together. I put the money back, and the payroll went off just like it always does.
And oh, that Jose. He's so cute and so wonderful.
Hey, baby, come on. Hurry up with that dinner, will
Yes,
you?
Jose, dear.
Hey, what are we going to eat tonight, baby? And it better be something good, you know. A husband can testify against his wife.
Same as usual, amigo, baby. Enchiladas with tacos and hot sauce.
Yum, yum,
chili
yum.
with tamales.
Suspense, presented by Autolite. Tonight's stars, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz.
Lucille, I heard your radio show last Friday night.
Like it?
Sure, swell show.
Mind if I get in?
Of course not, Desi.
I warn you, Desi. Harlow will try to sell you an Autolite Stay Full battery.
Oh, me, I'm sold already. That's just what I was going to tell Harlow. His product is terrific.
Why, thanks, Desi and Lucille. Autolite Stay Full batteries are, as Desi says, terrific. They need water only 3 times a year in normal car use. Yes, sir, their extra liquid load above the plates as compared to ordinary batteries helps lick a leading cause of battery failure. Autolite Stay Full batteries are just one of more than 400 products Autolite makes for cars, trucks, planes, and boats in 28 plants coast to coast. These include complete electrical systems used as original equipment on many makes of America's finest cars and trucks. Batteries, spark plugs, coils, distributors, starting motors, bullseye sealed beam headlight units. All engineered to fit together perfectly, work together perfectly, because they're a perfect team. So, folks, don't accept electrical parts supposed to be as good. Ask for and insist on Autolite, original factory parts at your neighborhood service station, car dealer, garage, or repair shop. Remember, you're always right with Autolite. Next Thursday for Suspense, Burt Lancaster will be our star. The play is called The Long Wait, and it is, as we say,
A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Tonight's Suspense play was produced and edited by William Spear and directed by Norman MacDonald. Music for Suspense is composed by Lucien Morawek and conducted by Lud Gluskin. The Red-Headed Woman is an original play by Nancy J. Cleveland. Lucille Ball will soon be seen co-starred with Bob Hope in the Paramount picture Fancy Pants, and may be heard in her own Jell-O show, My Favorite Husband, every Friday night over most of these same CBS stations. In the coming weeks, you will hear such stars as Burt Lancaster, Mickey Rooney, and Lana Turner. And don't forget, next Thursday, same time, Autolite will present Suspense, starring Burt Lancaster.
You can buy Autolite Stay Full batteries, Autolite resistor spark plugs, Autolite electrical parts at your neighborhood Autolite dealers. Switch to Autolite. Good night.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Attention all business owners and aspiring database wizards. If you want to take your data management to the next level, G3PL.com is your ultimate destination for expert Microsoft Access support and training.
That's right. G3PL.com believes that every successful database journey starts with a dedicated individual guiding you to success. That's why we're proud to introduce G3PL.com, a Microsoft Access expert.
Whether you're just starting or looking to enhance your access skills, G3PL.com's personalized training will set you on the path to mastery. G3PL will be with you every step of the way, providing hands-on guidance and real-world examples.
But don't just take our word for it. Hear what a satisfied client has to say.
Thanks to G3PL.com, I've become a Microsoft Access Pro. The personalized training was exactly what I needed. I learned to create and optimize databases, run powerful queries, and automate tasks with VBA. Now, I'm confidently handling complex projects with ease.
It doesn't stop there. G3PL.com is your go-to for top-notch support and solutions.
Exactly. If you're struggling with your existing database, G3PL will troubleshoot, optimize, and fine-tune it to perfection.
G3PL.com designed a custom database that transformed our business operations. We needed a streamlined system to manage our services and customer data. Their expertise delivered a tailor-made solution that exceeded our expectations. I can't thank them enough.
G3PL.com understands that every project is unique, and we're here to offer individualized attention to your specific needs.
So, why wait? Take the leap into the world of Microsoft Access Excellence with G3PL.com.
Contact G3PL today and embark on your database journey with an Access expert.
Send an email to db@g3pl.net or call 615-420-2040 and ask for Mark to learn more and get started.